All righty, welcome in if you are joining us on YouTube. Don't mind me as I just adjust my camera here. I'm trying a little bit of a different setup today. We're trying to see if it'll work. We're gonna find out. So if you're watching this on the replay, feel free to fast forward just a little bit because I'm actually going to get TikTok people in here as well. And thank you for coming. If you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to ask on the chat. If I don't see it, you're welcome to message me on any social media platform because you'll probably find me there a little bit easier and faster. And we're going to go ahead and welcome in our TikTok peeps. 3, 2, 1. Who will be the first person from TikTok today? We don't know. We'll find out. It's going to be somebody. The first person that's going to be in is, drumroll please, somebody. And it is, drumroll still please. Welcome to the most ridiculous live ever. This is how we do it. All right, readjusting. We are notifying viewers that you are live. Fantastic. Math Yang is the first one in today. So again, like I said, if you're watching this on YouTube, please feel free to fast forward until we get started with the clothing photography, which will be momentarily. It just takes time to get everyone in here and get this party started. All right. We got user 84148691158843. Welcome in. We've got Nora Talk on here, kind of like TikTok, but for Noras. I don't know if you've ever heard that. Colorado 838. Colorado. That's where I was born. Hello, it is good to see you. Yes. Hi, user. Tammy, hi, good to see you. And Trump is your daddy? Well, I don't know about that. I think my dad might have something to say about that. Pam and Watermelon Wanda, Jessica, the names on TikTok make me smile every single day. Idlewild and Nanette, Tiffany and Pamela, Jerome, Peggy, Tammy Medford, I'm happy to see you. I see your little flamingo. That makes me happy. That's my favorite animal on the planet. And Carl's here, Charlotte's here, and Dawn's here. All right, we are going to get this started off. First things first, I'm going to pop on my cute little lanyard here. I will probably end up getting a few questions about this. If you go to my wall and clickety on the linkety, you will get taken to the store that starts with an A, and you can find one of these there. I literally live in this thing. It does all of my sourcing with me at garage sales. It does all my picture taking. I wear it to concerts. I love this thing. Jem's here. Yay. Hi, Jem. I went and I was looking on your page and checking out your videos. They're actually really funny. You have a good sense of humor. Katie Kaboom. Happy to see you today. All right. Yeah. So we're going to get started. I've got my lanyard here. First thing I'm going to do before I start taking pictures is I'm going to make sure that my phone is in square mode. So you want all your photos to look square whenever you're listing anything online anywhere. If you don't and you have the long view, you are going to end up with your pictures looking squished on any sort of platform you're selling on, whether that is eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, Depop, Grailed, anywhere. They all use the squared format. There's also a trick to this too, friends. If you go and look it up online, you can find videos on how to actually go into square mode on your phone and how to keep it there. So my problem with square mode for the longest time was every time I took a picture and then I closed my phone and opened it back up, it would be stuck in the long view again, in the vertical picture view. And so I found a really super simple solution online. I don't know why I hadn't thought to look it up before. I didn't even know my phone could do it. That's on an iPhone. I don't know about Android or anything, but hopefully that'll help you out. Yeah, you're welcome, Jem. Yay, Mike's here. And Darlene, I see you today, Darlene, and you're looking lovely today. Okay, so we got square mode. We've got our lanyard here. Guys, I got construction going on outside here. Our neighbors are having a completely different driveway put in and sidewalk and all this stuff. So if the dogs bark, I apologize. There is just like literally 15 people out there working. So hopefully Jack won't get all riled up. If he does, he's kind of handsome. He's pretty cute. He barks a little bit. It is what it is, right? Happy Friday Eve. I like that. Grace is like, it's almost Friday. You know what that means. It means it's close to Saturday, which is garage sale day. Found a multifamily already and a community garage sale. Y'all know I love my community garage sales. So I'm super excited about that. I can't wait. All right, let's get this started. What should we kick off with today? Let's start off with this guy here. So this is a vintage 90s Disney Mickey Mouse t-shirt. It's got the little embroidered Mickey. Perfect time of year to be listing this. I've had this for a little while. I kind of have been putting it off this last month, waiting to list this because I want it to be a new, super fresh listing. Now that we're kind of starting to move into a little bit cooler weather, people are starting to think Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas. I'm going to go ahead and get this listed. So this right here is what's called a mock neck. For anybody that's wondering, a turtleneck is typically something that is folded over once, whereas the mock neck is just one layer. So if you're looking for a trigger word for that, mock neck is what you're looking for. This is definitely 90s. How do I know that? Well, the tag. So the tag is super, super old. Let's see, this is, does it say on it? I could have sworn this was a made in the US. It might be, yes, it is. So this is a, right there, made in the USA, nice little mock neck, Mickey Mouse. We're going to get it hung up here on our wall. I am going to take a little fabric shaver here and I'm going to get off any of these little guys here that are making it look funky. This is like the best like $10 gadget in the entire universe. If you're looking for it, I did have people looking for this specific one because it works really well. I had gotten it from my son. I didn't know where he got it. I should have known. He got it from the A Smile store. And I did put this in our linkity on my page. So if you want to get it, I really like it. It's easy to empty and it just works really well. I use it for shoes. I use it for just about everything. So this is your gadget tip for the day is get yourself a fabric shaver if you don't have one yet, especially if you're dealing with like sweaters or anything like in the vintage market, because it's probably going to have some pilling on it, and that just works great. So normally what I do is I fabric shave it, and then I just go over it with, a little lint roller here. I get my lint rollers from the Smile store, same place I get it from everywhere. And I did put these in our linkity as well. I like these because they come off in a really unique way. I'll show you when I get a new one. So for shirts, I'm always going to kind of fold in here. I don't want my shirt to be super huge when I take a picture of it. So I generally fold my arms in. And we're going to take a picture here and we're going to adjust our exposure, which I super suggest doing. Because if you don't adjust the exposure, you're going to end up with things looking way too light or way too dark. So like looking at that, that is about what it looks like. Now it looks brighter and lighter to you guys because it's underneath those lights, but typically that's about the right color there. So we're going to go ahead and leave that. I think that looks pretty gosh darn good here. And then we're going to get some photos. Like I said, there's Jack. Daddy also has been grocery shopping, so he could be getting home at any time. And that also warrants an alert. Okay, and then we're going to get a picture of the shoulders. Now, I got a tip from a buyer, not even a reseller. I got a tip from a buyer. I had someone send me a message that said it was for a pearl snap area Western shirt that we sold. We actually shipped this about a week and a half together. And I just got actually a really good review for it. So that's awesome. But the person said, hey, I can't tell what the chest measurement is. And I said, oh, it's in the photos. And they said, well, I can't tell what photo that is. And I realized I'd been taking my chest measurement photos so close up that people couldn't tell. For me, it was just like common sense. Oh, that's a sleeve and that's the shirt. but not everyone's going to think the way I think. And so I realized that I needed to alter that. So I've been pulling back a little bit and making sure I'm getting just a little bit of that the top in, so that people have like some sort of like navigational point of knowing where that is. The smile star, yes. What did you say about exposure? I missed it, said Deb. So on your phone up here, now guys, this is all advice on iPhone. If you're Android, it might be different. Up here is your exposure, and it'll allow you to change kind of the brightness and the darkness of your photo. The reason I suggest using it is because if you're taking a picture of a black shirt and you've got pretty adequate lighting, it's going to end up looking pretty gray on your photo. And then the person's going to get that shirt and be like, I thought this was a gray color. So by adjusting the exposure, that changes that. So if you're taking pictures of something that's a little on the darker side, like this is like a super dark blue. If you're doing like a dark black jacket, like we're going to be doing this jacket together, you want to lower the exposure down a little bit. So for me, with my lighting, it works at 0.3 is what I use for dark clothing. And then for lighter or brighter clothing, I usually use a +3. And that's going to brighten up my whites and make them not look like super gray. Or sometimes you'll take a picture of a white t-shirt and it'll look like almost kind of dingy yellow. And that's just, it has to do with the lighting, really. And so changing that exposure for each item, once you get the hang of it, it's pretty simple. What else do we got here? Hey, Salvi, good to see you. And Tracy's Posh is here. Wait, what? You don't have the Trish Smith lay flat hanger? So I actually was just chatting with Trish, like, I don't know, maybe a week ago. And I had sent her a message and I was like, hey, do you have any hangers? And she's like, no, we still don't have any. She said, but I promise you, you're the first to know when we get them in. So yes, I've been on the list now for, I don't even know how long. Southern, hey, yo. I was just listing a purple shirt and it kept looking blue. I'll check it out. Yeah, check out that exposure. It also can have to do with your lighting. So you want to really look for lighting that's like anywhere between like 5,500, 5,000 at the least, K lumens. So that's going to be kind of like your brightness, I guess, is an easy way of saying it. So you want to look somewhere in there for your lumens. You also want to look for cool daylight lights. So I'll show you guys the difference. Actually, I have a light here and I'll change the mode. So this is a typical light. Most lights come in that kind of warm color. Look at me, right? But just by changing that back to this kind of lighting, it looks like regular again. I hope that makes sense. So you want to look for the cool lighting. Sometimes anything, if you're photographing in a room that has like more of that warm lighting, especially with purples, they'll look bananas. Sometimes it'll look pink, or they'll look like almost like a orangey color. You're like, how is that even possible? And it's just because it's pulling from the reds and blues that are in that garment. Yeah, I do need that hanger. I know, it's so funny. Everybody always talks about it. I'm like, I've tried. Rally Roots has a tutorial on making a hanger to look like a lay flat. Ooh, little fat guy. When you get off here, will you just message that to me so I don't forget that? One made you look orange. Use that one, right? I know. It looks like Halloween. It's so crazy how the lighting, just that little bit, will really change that. Okay, we're gonna keep going here. But if you guys have any questions while we're doing this, like I said, don't be shy. Feel free to ask. And if I miss it, please ask again. And if I miss it, please ask again. Just keep asking until I get a chance to see it. Because when I'm over here, obviously, I can't see what's going on. Okay, so we did our length. We're going to do our chest. Now, we talked a little bit about this on the Go Live that I did yesterday. And we talked a little bit about, oops, I had changed my exposure. See, that looks so crazy now. I changed it for you guys. All right, we got to change that back. I'll show you that too in a second, the difference. So we talked a little bit about what to call this area in here through the middle when you're taking pictures. On a lot of people's listings, I kept seeing that pit to pit, and that really is just a reseller's term. That is not a term that stores use, and that's certainly not a term that eBay's algorithms or any other site is going to use for their algorithm. So if someone puts in that they're looking for a shirt with a chest width of 42 and you have pit to pit in your listing, you are not going to get picked up by that algorithm. So it is very, very important that you call it a chest. Now you could get really particular and call it a chest on a male and a bust on a female. I just do chest for both. Maybe I should change that up myself too. But the pit to pit thing is not going to get you picked up. It also isn't great for buyers. They just are like pit to pit sounds a little funkety. So, God's here. Yay! Tenacious Tea in the house. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. You're my first follow on Depop. Oh, no way. That's awesome. That's cool. Well, hopefully you can get inspirations from my listings and get yourself listed up there too. Man, Depop and we love each other. So now I'm going to get a picture of the tag here. And then we are going to I wanted to show you the exposure situation. So I accidentally took a picture of this with my exposure higher, right? Because I was showing you guys and I forgot I had changed it. So look at that photo. It looks like a light blue t-shirt, almost the same color as this, but look at the difference in that color. So this is really what this looks like, but it turned out looking like this because of the exposure. So I fixed it and boom, I brought it down to -3 and look at what a difference it is. Now it looks like that shirt. So that's very important because people are going to purchase from you and then accidentally get, not the color that they're looking for. And that's not good. We don't want to do that. Right. So is Poshmark worth it? I'm probably an interesting person to ask that question to because I'm not a huge Poshmark seller. Now, that being said, because I do cross-listing software, so I use a company called Vendoo. It's Vendoo. Because I use Vendoo, it's so easy for me to cross-list that it takes me, honestly, maybe 8 seconds to cross-list something on to Depop because I take pictures of everything. I list it on eBay. I import that into my Vendoo, and then I cross-list on Poshmark, Depop, Mercari, sometimes Grailed, sometimes whatnot. But I'm just doing it right from there. And on Poshmark, because Poshmark's specs and eBay specs are so similar. I always say similar. We're gonna go similar because that's what I want to say. Because they're so similar. They end up, you don't have to really change much. The only thing I ever have to do on my software on Poshmark is just put what the original price is. If I don't know the original price, I just push 0 and then I hit list. So it's really super fast. So I do sell stuff on Poshmark. I usually typically say I probably sell 10 items a week on Poshmark. Now to put that in perspective, I sell like 40 on Depop, 25 on eBay. So it's definitely a slower selling app for me. They do take a larger percentage, but it is easy to ship because you just got to put it in a priority mailer. So the question is it worth it? Yes and no. And also it depends on what you sell. So if you are a female clothing centric seller, you're focused on very name brand, high end brands, trendy brands, very popular female brands. Those sell much better on Poshmark than like what I sell. So I'm a turn and burn. I'm a bread and butter. I do a lot of name brand stuff, but I'm also what I call an aesthetic seller, meaning I sell things because of how they look. And if they're trending, like a trendy looking aesthetic versus just name brand. So anybody else in here that sells on Poshmark can totally answer that as well, probably. Yeah, that is such a difference, isn't it? Tenacious, just that little bit of an exposure. Many make a full-time income with Poshmark. And Gracious, that's a great tip too. And that is true. Like I said, it really depends on what you sell. If I had to pay my bills with Poshmark, there's no way. I can't even probably pay for groceries in a month for what I make there. But what I make on Depop pays my mortgage. So it really just has to do a lot with how you sell. Are you taking your pictures through a platform or cross-listing app? I take my pictures just through the regular camera, and then I upload them into eBay just from my regular camera roll. Unrelated, I love your ink. You must have seen the scissors. Oh, Vicky's here. Woohoo! Oh, Grit City, thanks for the follow. Okay. Now, the other thing that I do that's maybe a little bit different than other listers, maybe some of you guys do this too. I write down the specs of the items while I'm doing this so that I can sit down and just power list through stuff because I like efficiency. And for me, it's efficient if I write everything down and then I can literally just pop out my notepad and just list. So I like to do it that way. I know it doesn't work for everybody that way. Some people find it a bit redundant. For me, it just works. So we got chest is 20, so 40 around. We're going to erase that picture that was too light. And then it looks like our sleeves are 20. So this is definitely a true medium. Our length is 28. And our shoulders are 18.5 on that. So I just write down what's in my photos, and then I write down any key things I want to remember, like made in the USA, just so I don't forget to put that in there. I despise writing by hand. I voice to text it into my notes app, but that's a great tip too. Heck yeah. Thank you so much. I'm just selling overflow from my closet. I do have a ton of Carhartts to sell. Hey, this is a perfect time of year to be getting those Carhartts up. For sure. Like that will definitely sell. Make sure when you do your Carhartts too, that you really use a lot of trigger words and keywords in your descriptions because there's a lot of Carhartts for sale. If you can date them as far as the date on them. So if you can find the date, it's usually a 4-digit code on Carhartts, like up right-hand corner. If you can date them, then put that in your listing, in your title and in your description, because that makes a big difference to people. And then also make sure you do GORP core utility workwear, but don't forget things like skate, skater, rugged, tough, outdoors, like really a lot of keywords in there so that your Carhartts can get sold. Like I can't even keep Carhartts in my store, but I think it's because I use so many descriptive and trigger words, which we're going to have a conversation about today. Because I'm nerdy and did a little research. Okay, so we're gonna get this up here. Now, this is a absolute fire piece. Never judge a book by the cover. I went to this garage sale. It was a community garage sale. It's the first one I went to in this community. And when I first walked up, all I saw was like what I call like low-level decor. So this is like stuff from the clearance section places. This is stuff like from years ago, but no one decorates their home like it anymore. There's chipped statues and just stuff that I'm never going to buy at a garage sale. Like these people are going to end up hauling it over to, Greenville or something like that. But I went back and saw this little clothing rack and I asked the guy, I was like, hey, I'm just looking for men's clothing. And he's like, well, I'm the only guy in this house, but I am selling a couple things. So he had like 2 t-shirts, which I looked at. They were just like trashed, like beyond destroyed even for Depop. And then I parted and saw this. Now, it was filthy. I am talking like grunge filthy. Not good grunge filthy, filthy. So I OxyCleaned it, I sprayed it, I washed it. It still has a little bit of discoloration, but it actually kind of adds to the look. It used to be a jacket. So now it's upcycled. And this thing right here is going to fetch us some money, baby, because it is such an iconic classic metal punk alternative. It's grunge, it's indie, it's emo, it's like every aesthetic you can think of. It'll probably wind up selling. It might wind up selling on eBay, but I'm going to get a ton of traction on it from Depop. So when I have a piece like this that I know is going to get a ton of likes, it's going to get a ton of views, it's super unique. When I list this on Depop, I'm going to probably list it for a little bit more than what I want to get it for. And the reason I do that is because on Depop, their algorithm works as a popularity system. So the more listings that you get up on their platform that people have liked or viewed or searched, or you've ended up on the front of their main page, on the on their computer main page, your items are super popular on there. It just drives the traffic to your store. So I will take a few pieces, like super fire pieces like this, and I'll mark them up a little bit. Now, every once in a while, they want still selling for a high price, but like I've got a Day to Remember T-shirt up there right now. It's a 2010. You can't find this T-shirt online anywhere. It's literally impossible. It's probably only worth like, I don't know, maybe like $130 or something like that. But I have it listed for way higher because the amount of traffic, I think I've had 2,400 people now look at that one item on Depop. So all that's doing is just driving traffic over. So that's a really super good tip for Depop sellers. I don't know if that is the case on other platforms. I just know that that works on Depop. You are so welcome, Jess. Arizona's here. Oh, Hustle's here too, and DW. We got the whole crew. Do you do the alterations? Absolutely not. I have no idea how to do that. I can sew a mean button on and I can make a Halloween costume. That's about it. Ruth says, I've been here all day. Okay. All right. So we're going to get pictures of our vest here. And this piece, like I said, I mean, it's just absolutely so stinking awesome. Like this guy wore this thing to a lot of concerts. And so it's got like that character. It's got that little bit of grunge aesthetic. It's going to make for an awesome punk statement piece vest. And then when you're doing Levi's jackets or any sort of jacket like this, it's very important that you get the measurements on the bottom here because one, it'll tell you if it's women's or men's. Women's Levi's jackets always taper in a little bit here. The only exception to that is if you find a super vintage one and it's got the double panel in here. The reason it would have the double panel in there is because the bolts of fabric back in the day weren't wide enough to do one whole wraparound piece. So they had to insert in a panel. If you ever, now, don't come to where I source because I don't want you to find this. I'm going to give you a little tip of a super holy grail. If you find Levi's jackets and they have a double panel in here, meaning that there's a sew stitch here and a sew stitch here, and it's not just stitched down the center, pick it up. Do not snooze on it. If you find one of these jackets and it has a line in the back right here and you don't pick it up, you just walked away from probably a $20,000 jacket. They are outrageously rare. It is very hard to find. It's when the bolts of fabric could only be this wide. So we're talking like vintage. But if you see that down here, make sure you pick it up. Now, the only exception to that would be if Levi's decides to do a throwback jacket and they're just trying to make it look like that because it's an old and vintage piece. You can tell the difference by looking at the tag, and I'll show you guys that here in just a second. Let me get a picture of the back of this vest here. Perfect. All right. So in any Levi's, it's pretty simple to date stamp this. We're going to hope that this still has the tag on it. It may not, only because of the age. I'm guessing this is like a 2013 or something like that. It may be newer. Let's take a look. Oh, here we go. Okay, so this is the tag. So if your tag looks like this inside, let's say that you find one of these and it's got the line down the back and you're like, oh my gosh, that's the gray old one. Make sure you look for the size tag. If they look like this, it means that it's newer. If you find one of those and you open this up and it's got a really tiny little fabric tag here, or no tag was ever sewn on there, you better get it. You better get it. How did you learn this stuff, says Indy? You know, just watching a lot of videos. It's something I'm interested in. And so, you know, when you're sitting down late at night and you're got nothing to do and you're messing around, you watch TikTok videos, you watch videos other places, and you just kind of learn that stuff. So I was guessing this is a 2013. 2013. That nailed it. So 3613 means that it was created in the 36th week of 2013. So this is not technically vintage, obviously, and it's not technically Y2K. So I have a little trick, and I actually mentioned this on someone else's post earlier of how I do this. So if I have an item where I want someone to know that it's retro or older, I will say retro. However, retro can really mean anything, right? So I'm going to call this item post Y2K. So POST dash Y2K. That way I'm not technically claiming that it's from 2000 to 2010. Some websites even say 95 to 2005, which is insane. They're incorrect. It is Y2K is 2000 to 2010. So I'm going to say post Y2K. That way the person's going to know, okay, this is not Y2K, but it's close, which it is 2013. My cutoff for that is usually around 2015, 2016. Then it's just going to have to be modern, because there really isn't a good unique word for anything between like 2010 to like 2017 or 18. Because 2017, I mean, that was what, 7 years ago? So technically it's not still modern, but we don't really have a word for that yet. So I do post Y2K. Now, the other nice thing about doing that with post Y2K, do not put Y2K on an item that's not Y2K, because you can get your stuff pulled. But if you do post Y2K and there was ever a dispute, you can say, I did not say that this was Y2K. I said that this was post Y2K. So that's a good little trick. Good little trick. Snap dabble. Silky tag equals newer. Hustle is correct. Exactly. How will you be tilting it when you post it? How will I be tilting it? I'm not sure what you mean by that one. Okay, so we're going to get a picture of this tag here so that I can prove it's the year that I say it is. Now, most buyers aren't going to need that, but should I ever get a dispute that says, she said it was from this year, but I bought it and I don't think it's from this year. If I've got that in my photos on that tag, then I've got a leg to stand on. Yeah. All right. Surf's up. What's up? What's up? Okay. So we are going to fold this baby up. So I am probably going to put this as like 85 on Depop. Now, I don't expect to get 85 for it, but like I said, this is about driving traffic there and driving traffic to my page. You don't want to do that with too many things, because otherwise, if Depop is sending it out to a lot of people to look at and no one's hearting it, no one's clicking on it, people are like, that's outrageous, then that sends a message to Depop that maybe you are overpricing items. And this goes, for SEOs and all that anywhere. If you price too many of your things too high, you're going to get crickets in your closet. So what I do is I put a few statement pieces, like maybe one, maybe two a week up, that are a super, super high price. Then I put a few that are super, super low because I just want them out of my closet. And that way the algorithm looks like you're a fair shopper. Because remember, everything is done through, that algorithm state now. So we want to have a little bit of each on those. Okay, so let's see our measurements on that. That is a large in 2013, and it looks like we've got our bottom is going to be 19 across, so 38 around. Our chest is 21.5. Our length is 25.5, almost 26, but always round down on your measurements, round up on your weights when you're shipping. And then our shoulders are a 17. So I know I'm not going to get $85 for this. It's got someone's name on the tag from back in the day. Like, it has things, but we're going to rock it for maybe a week at that price. And then what I'll do is delist it and relist it. Unless it has tons and tons of watchers and likes, then I'll keep it. And then just lower the price a little bit. I'll push it out, maybe put like a 15 or 20% push on just that item on Depop. You can change how much you discount stuff down. So I may discount that item for a 48-hour sale or something like that. How much did you pay for that, please? $1. I paid $1 for that at a garage sale. Hustle knew the answer before I even said it. Yeah, I paid $1. I'm the $1 girl. I mean, you go to a garage sale, I guarantee you I'm getting something for $1. All right, so this is a pair of PacSun camo pants. I don't buy a ton of PacSun stuff because it can tend to sit in the store unless you're finding super old vintagey PacSun stuff. If you can find PacSun stuff from the age of like 99 to like, because I think they opened in like, I think they opened 99 where I was. Maybe they were open before that, but where I was in Washington, I think it was like 98 or 99. If you can find anything from them up until like maybe 2005 or 6, I would still pick it up because those are really nice quality PacSun Y2K pieces. The newer stuff from then on, quality went down quite a bit. It's kind of like what happened with Adidas. You know, they started selling it at Wally World, and that pretty much killed that brand. I mean, I remember back in the day, Adidas being the hardest pair of shoes to find, like the old black ones with the white stripe. Man, those were so hot back in the day. And then they just kind of did their thing, unfortunately, and that really killed it. Whoops, my exposure went way up on that. We're gonna take a new picture on that one. That, I don't know what happened there. Okay. All right, and then we're gonna do our hips here. And I started putting hip measurements in. It seems like the stuff that I started doing that on is just selling really well. So I think I'm going to keep that. So I do waist, hip, rise, inseam, and then I also do ankle. Because if you're someone like me that has like a wider calf, it's really important to know that that's going to fit that length. I hope that makes sense. These are really cute, aren't they? I know if they were my size, I'd actually consider keeping them. Well, that's not true because I can't wear pants because I'm just too sweaty all the time. I'm a warm girl. I'm always warm. So I moved to the hottest place in the world because that makes sense, right? Okay, and then we're going to take a picture of the inside here. And then we're going to look and see if we see a material tag. And then I'll share with you guys something I learned. Let's see, are these dated? No. I mean, I'm going to say that these are definitely a newer PacSun item. I can tell just by the tag. So these tags, when you see these like flimsy tags that you can basically just blow on and they move, they're not beefy, they're not thick. That's going to pretty much automatically tell you that they're not, that it's a new modern item. You can be guaranteed. Tags back in the day, unless you got an Old Bay Island tag or an old Oneida t-shirt tag or something like that. Otherwise, you're just, it's going to be a more modern thing. Let's see, that was $9.99. Guys, guess what? We got bag 1,000, baby. Yeah. All right. So I've got something I wanted to tell you guys. So there's been these questions, and I've actually gotten a couple people that have messaged me. I had someone message me over on IG about this too, asking me about my trigger words and my keywords, and if does it really work, and is it true? And I know that there's different opinions out there. So I'm going to tell you guys what I learned. Now, I know that the keywords and trigger words in my descriptions help. How do I know this? Because 100% of the clothes I sell with these on there sell. All my old listings that I have delisted and relisted multiple times haven't. So I am in the process of going back through those old listings and putting stuff in the descriptions. So I decided to go down a little bit of a rabbit hole while I was having, it was supposed to be a quesadilla today for lunch, but it turned into a burrito because I put way too much ground turkey in it. So it was a burrito quesadilla. However, I was reading up on some stuff and I found some interesting facts out because y'all know I'm a facts girl. So I wanted to get this settled as far as do my keywords and trigger words, the things I talk about in descriptions help. And here's what I learned. So buyers on eBay. Now, I can't speak for every platform, although I know in my heart that this is true across the board. I did marketing for years, and so I worked in a business where you understand SEOs, which is search engine optimization. You understand how things are being seen. And now, I mean, I've been out of that business for about a year and a half now, not quite a year and a half. So a lot of it's changed, but a lot of it's still the same. So here's what I found out. Buyers can search on eBay by title, they can search by description, or they can search by both. And so I was really interested. I know this is not photographing clothing, but I thought you guys might be interested in this. So if I look up the word, and I'm going to show you in real time how this works. So if I were look up the word Levi's women's jeans, right? I'm going to get 330,000 of these, okay? Now, I can click on filter here, and if I scroll down to show more, there is a section down here that says search in description, and that can get toggled on. And I guess from what I understand, there's a lot of buyers that, oh, we reached our live goal, bam. There's a lot of buyers that will toggle this because they don't want to go just off the title. They're trying to look for a specific size. They're trying to look for a specific cut. They're trying to look for a specific aesthetic. They're trying to find more about items. So if I go into that and I click on search by description. Oh, where did it go now? Search in description. Now I'm going to pull up totally different things that I would have before. Now, this is a generic version of this because all I did was put women's Levi's in. But if you have stuff in your description that has anything to do with what you're selling. So for this, I'm going to put American, military. I'm going to put all those words. So if someone types in military style camo pants, size 34, if you didn't have all of that in your title, which you can't fit all of that, and I had all that in my description, I'm going to win. I'm going to be the listing that someone's going to see, and they're going to see that, and they're going to see mine first because of the fact that I have that on there. Now, so I went down the rabbit hole even further. Does the buyer have to toggle that on? So here's what I found out. eBay includes the description if the title results are returned. And what that means is if I type something in, like I'm looking for a pair of size, or I'm looking for a pair of men's camo style cool military USA punk pants, right? I've typed that in as a buyer because we know buyers are typing in all sorts of wild stuff. If somebody else didn't have any of those things in their title, let's say all they had was PacSun pants, size medium, men's, long length, stretch waist, size 34. If that's all they had in there, eBay won't be able to find it. The algorithm can't find it easily. So it's going to show, it's going to reject looking it up by title, and it's going to look it up just by description. So it is, let's see, I wrote that down. So here's the end of it. Does it seem redundant then? Is the other question I get. Okay, so I'm settling this. The description matters. eBay's SEOs are looking for it. We know that that's true. But then I get the question, well, isn't it redundant to put your title in your description as well? So on all of my listing, you will see the following formula. I have my title. That title is in my description. I break it up so it's not just one long word. So it goes by, and I'm just even going to show you guys this. I am showing you all the secrets. Now you're going to be competing against my listings, but that's okay. So these are the pants I just listed today. So I'm going to show you this. So my title is right here. Okay, so that's these pants. And then my description has that in there. So that is everything written up top, but I break it into the brand, the information about the item, the wash, and then what size it is. Then I write a little bit about it. I put my measurements. I have my disclaimer, and then I have all those trigger words down there. So does it matter? Yes, because I found the answer to this. Each section of your title, description, and the specifics, which on eBay is where you put like it's a men's, it's a woman's, it's this, it's that. The SEO, which is the search engine, supports all three of those. So if you have information in the title and you have like maybe all you can fit in here is military or hunter or gorp core or whatever you want to put in that title. You put that same thing down in the description. Now you have the SEO finding that. You have the SEO finding that. Now it's found two things. And then also in the specifics under theme or character, you've put military, camo, outdoors. I don't spend a ton of time in the specifics. Maybe I should spend even more time after finding this out, because I found out that on eBay, it really does. The SEOs really do search for the title, description, and specifics. So if I'm the seller that has Gorp Core in my title, I've got Gorp Core in my description, and I've got Gorp Core in my specifics, and you only have it in the title or you only have it in the description, who's going to win? I'm going to win. He or she who puts some more information in there is going to be the one that won. So I hope that that makes sense. And I probably should do an actual whole video on that, because I spent some time on it today. And it was just really cool to find that information out, because I knew in my gut that it's been helping. I mean, my sell-through rate for clothing and stuff like that is really high. Like you guys are on here with me. You see how much I ship. I sell a lot of stuff. I'm not like selling 100 items a day or anything like that, but I'm selling quite a bit of stuff. But my older listings aren't, even if I delist them and relist them. And it's good stuff. It's not like they're any different than a newer item that I have up. It's just a fact that the SEOs are finding it a little bit easier. So I hope that makes sense. Good, Salvi. I'm glad that helps. Sap Dabble, such informative research. Appreciate you. I appreciate you too, because I was inspired earlier to really find this information out, because I want to make sure that the info I'm giving out and the stuff I'm sharing with you guys is really the real skis, and not just me, making stuff up or just thinking I know something. I want to make sure I got, some facts behind it. So cool shirt reminds me of high school. Must be pretty cool to be you. It reminds me of high school too. I just never grew out of that phase. Oh, Schaefer, good. Love it. Cece, you're welcome. Do you promote all your listings? And if so, how much? On Depop, I always do 10%. However, Depop's got this really cool feature. We're getting a little sidetracked here, but that's okay. So on Depop, there is this really neat feature under your bulk actions where you can discount items. So you can click, like, I'll just show you how to do this. You click select all, you go to discount, you go to set new discount, and then I want you to notice something that happens. If I slide this up to 10%, then it tells me that anyone that likes this item will automatically get an offer. So we love that. And then there's also this magic little button down here that you can click, and it sets it as a 48-hour discount. So every time I list stuff, which I list every day, I go in and do this at the end of all of my listing. And it takes me 32 seconds to do this, okay? So I'll go through it one more time. Confirm and done. So once again, bulk actions, discount, select all, discount, set new discount, 10%, 48-hour, confirm. Now, by doing that, the cool thing is that not only will your buyer get a message that your stuff is on sale, but they'll also get a message that says it's on sale for a limited time. Boom, we want that. So I just do that every time I list. And Depop lets you do it as many times as you want. You can change it all the time. So that's my Depop. On eBay, I promote, I think, 2% on most, a few things 5%. Poshmark, I don't do anything, but my auto posher sends out offers for like 10% off or 15% off, something like that. And then on Grailed, I don't do anything because I don't really sell much on there. And on Macari, I also have my auto posher sending a percentage off. And it just depends. What I have mine set to right now actually is anything that is, and I think this is what it is, you guys, I'm pretty sure, $0 to $100, I believe I have it set at 15% off. Anything from $101 to $151, I have it at 10% off. And anything from $152 up, I have it at 5% off. I think that's what it is right now. Yeah, so on eBay, I believe I do anywhere between 2 and 5%, depending on the item. Sorry if you just got here. Do you boost all on Depop? Always, Fetty. I always boost on Depop. It's minimal because I'm not paying any sort of, the only fees you pay on Depop are a transactional fee. And because I already mark my stuff up on Depop, I cushion, I pad my shipping a little bit. So I make a little extra on that. Then I also mark my stuff up a little bit so I can do the 10% off. And so I can also do bundles shipping free. I also am sending off those offers. So I will mark it a little higher than what I want because I already know I'm going to discount it down. So if I want to sell something for $20, I'm going to mark it up to 24 or 25. That way I can do all of that and I'm not losing any money. Depop loves the boosting. I will say that. Now, I have watched other resellers say that they didn't see any difference with the boosting, and that might be true. For me, I really do notice a difference. And it's honestly so minimal. Their boosting fees over there are not like what they are on some of the other platforms, for sure. You are welcome. So you don't use Depop shipping? No, Snapdabble. I use my own shipping. I go through Pirate Ship. By the way, happy Toxic Pirate Day to y'all. Yeah, I do Depop I do Pirate Ship for all my Depop because then I can pad it just like I do on eBay. I also check yesterday on eBay doesn't show handling fees to buyer. Oh, that's good then, Keegan. I wasn't sure. Thank you for checking on that. I'm only on Poshmark out of all the apps to sell. And what other apps would you recommend? It depends on what you sell. Here's my thing. Here's my take on this, and then we're gonna keep going because I'm heavily distracted today, obviously. Here's my take. I'm gonna break it down into a little story. If you were in a town and you owned a McDonald's, right, and you were selling food to people, and people came to your McDonald's, and you were making good money, that's great, right? But what about all those people that don't like McDonald's? They still like burgers, but they maybe just don't like the McDonald's burger. Or they don't like the way McDonald's is, or they don't like the McDonald's workers, or whatever it is. They want to go to Burger King. Well, if you're selling stuff, if you own the McDonald's and you own the Burger King and you own the Arby's and you own the Jack in the Box and you own all of those in a town, you're going to make so much more money, right? Because then you're hitting all the different age groups, all the different people that like all the different foods, right? So my take is, if you're using a cross-listing platform, like I use Vendu, other people use Autoposture. There's a lot of different things out there you can try. I like Vendu, so that's who I use. But if you're able to do it on cross-listing, it's just so fast. I mean, once you get the hang of it, it takes a while to learn. But once you get the hang of it, I mean, I can cross-list 20 items in like 6 minutes. Last night, I had 20 items to cross-list. Justin literally was making dinner, and he was making spaghetti, and I was like, how much time do I have? He said, I don't know, like 5 to 10 minutes tops. I sat down and hammered all those cross-listings out in that little period of time because I'm so used to it. And now, instead of just listing the 10, 16, or was it 20? I think it was like 19 or 20 last night. Instead of listing 19 or 20 things, let's just call it 20 for even. I have it listed on eBay. I have it listed on Depop. I have it listed on Mercari, and I have it listed on Poshmark. So now I really have like 80 listings up, right? I don't have like 20 listings up. I have like 80 listings up. So that's what I think. Yes, happy Pirate Day. Indy loves Depop. I agree. Do you use Prime Lister? Yeah, no, I just use Vendu. Hearts to darling. Okay, we got to write down these specs, guys. Holy smokes. She is highly distracted today. I'm just having one of those distractible days today. Okay, so let's look at our measurements here. So our ankle on this is 5.5. Our inseam is 24. Our rise is 13. Our hips are 19 and a half, so we'll call it 39. And, oh, did I not do waist on that? Nope. I did not do the waist. We got to measure the waist. So we're going to not hang it back up. We're just going to do it like this here just because I need to get the waist. So we're just going to put that there. We're going to hold it. We're going to Snapdabble a little photo here. That was a shout out to Snapdabble. And get that back in the bag. All right. Do you have an LLC? Absolutely not, but I absolutely need one. That is a husband, please help me situation. When you cross this, what happens when you sell on one side and it's on the others? Keegan, my software delists it. So when I sell something on Depop, for instance, it delists it everywhere else. The only exception to that is if I have an offer out on that item and it's on Poshmark. Poshmark, if you have an offer out on an item, I can't believe Poshmark still does this, but if you have an offer out on an item, your delisting software or even you can't delist it. So the trick is you have to go in and change the size or the quantity of that item. So on Poshmark, you just go up to edit, you just change the size or you change the quantity, hit list again, and then you can manually delist it. So what I do is when I, like usually once a day, I'll go in and I'll just make sure everything I sold on any of the other platforms delisted on Poshmark. I've had things lapse over. I've had to cancel orders on Poshmark. That's not my fault. That's a Poshmark issue. And every single time I cancel an order, I put up the little thing. It'll say like, "Why are you canceling?" And I literally write, "This there was an offer out on Poshmark. My delisting software and myself were unable to delist it. This is not my issue. This is a Poshmark issue." And maybe if I just keep writing that enough times, they'll figure it out. Jen's here. Nurse is here. I know. Poshmark is so annoying about that. AutoPosher has a workaround for the Poshmark offer issue. Jennifer, let me know what that is. I would love to find that out. If you want to send me a message, that'd be great. Groovy grabs. Yay. Okay, let's get our next item. Next pair we've got here is pair of pants. These are actually technically these are Wranglers, but they're called 20X's. It's just one of the Wranglers, like it's their, like Levi's has 511s or whatever. Wranglers has 20X's. You'll know them because they have this little logo here. These aren't a big money item. I got these for $2 at a garage sale. The reason I got them though is because of the size. So these things are a nice big size. They're going to help, because of the size of it, it'll help me to sell them. So I got to change my focus a little bit there. There we go. These are really long ones. So the size on these is going to be what helps me to sell these because they're not only wide, but they're also long. So anything that is plus size or the larger sizes definitely sells. That's probably, weirdly enough, it's probably my favorite size to sell is like extra large, 2X, 3X. I always seem to be able to ask a little bit more for them. The buyers aren't quite as particular. Oh, wow. These are long boys. Holy smokes. I have to go under my board here for the inseam. Dang. That's the first time I've ever had to do that. That's wild. Yeah. So, and I know the reason why you can get a little bit more. It's because companies don't make as many of the bigger sizes. So they'll make, let's say a company makes 1,000 white t-shirts, then that company is going to make, just a second, I got to change my exposure here, probably 300 smalls, 600 mediums, 600 extra large, 300 2XLs, and 100 3XLs. So that's kind of your margin for knowing how many are going to be made. Now, because there's not as many made, it means there's not as many of those on the market. So you can always ask a little bit more. I can pad my shipping a little bit more because it's a larger item. And I always have way happy customers. My best customers have been people buying like extra large 2XL, 3XL, and above. So these started out as it says they're supposed to be a 40-34, but that length is bananas. What is the length on that? I guess they are. I guess they're like, they're like a 33. I think it's just because of the rise on these. I mean, that's a long pair of pants. So we got 20X, and they started out as a 40-34. And let's see what they are now. Let's get these folded up here. See if did I miss any questions, guys. If I did, I apologize. Feel free to ask again. So does Vendu unlist your sale item on its own, or do you have to do it? It does it for me. Yeah, it's really convenient. So like I just sold like 4 pairs of shoes on Depop, and it just went in and unlisted them everywhere. I'll check. I have to check Poshmark, But like I said, I only do that like once a day. It'll usually be at the end of the day. And if I happen to sell that item on Poshmark because I sold it somewhere else during the day, then that's Poshmark's issue. Like, you know, that's not a me problem. Yes, you kissed mine unless it got filtered. I'm not sure what that. You must not be talking to me. I need to check menu out. Yeah, Denise, if you go into the old Linkity on my wall, then it'll take you over to there. And I think you might even get, I know they were doing this for a little while because that's how I originally got my Vendu. You get like a trial period if you do it that way. I think you get like 2 weeks or I don't remember what it was, but you get like a little trial period to try it out and see if you like it. That way you can put like 20 items up there or something and just see if it's something you think that you're going to use. All right, let's see what we got here for our sizing. So our ankle is a 9. Our inseam is only a 33, which is crazy, but it's got to be that rise. Oh, yeah, that's a long rise. So we've got 13 on our rise for that. That is definitely longer. And then we've got our hips are going to be a 42. We're going to round down. And then our waist looks like it's closer to a 38 now. So, and then on your listings too, when you are doing pants, it's pretty important to put down the size something is now. Let me get to something here so I can show you. Let me just type in Levi's because this is Levi's shrink up the most of any pants. So if you'll notice on my Levi's, I'll put like the size that it was. And then if it's changed, I put that in parentheses. So they were a 33, 32. Now they're a 33 and then 30. Another example of that would be these. So here's some gray stretch. These are a little pair of 511s, indie, punk, metal, goth, all that. They were a 38-30. And then in parentheses, I just do 37-28. For any skater stuff, if you can't fit skater in there, just do SK8. There's a lot of people using that now. The t-shirt bros kind of got that popular. And so that can trigger. Oh, did we just sell something on Depop? I think we might have. What do we sell? What do we get, guys? What do we do? No? Oh, it's just an offer. Nope. All right. Got to always check. Man, I like to be on that stuff. Okay. Next up, we've got a little Mark Echo. So this is a cut and sew. This is an older one. I can tell just because of the material. This is like a super thick boy. This is probably like a 2005 or 6, I would say. It's got like a double up here. So it's got like the pattern on the front, and then it also has like the double stitch on the back. Super popular for like skater, indie, Cali, streetwear, hip hop. It even has the cut and sew tag on the bottom here, which was super popular in the 2000s for shirts to have that. They don't do that as much anymore for shirts, and then it's got like a little embroidered skull on it. So we're gonna get all the lint off. I wanted to show you guys why I like these lint rollers. So I have fought with a couple different brands. This is the one I like the best because of this reason. It's really easy to get off. They're triangular, so there's just a little tab here, and I bring it even closer, except for I can't because it's connected. And then they just peel. Super easy. So, and they won't peel off when you're using it. I was trying some of the other more name brand ones that you would assume that are brands that like should work really well. And it was so frustrating because so many of them would just tear off. Now, I know some resellers just use the reusable ones that have like the red flat handle. I don't know why, but I like these better. I think it just gets more of the goobers off for me. I mean, just personally. What is on there? There we go. All right. And then I'm going to take my little fabric guy because there's a little embroidered patch here. And he's got some yuckies. But he looks like a pirate. It's very appropriate for Pirate Day. So we're just going to get him all shaped up here. Perfect. There we go. Now he's looking very handsome again. So very handsome. Okay, I'm going to smooth that out. And then with this is a good example of where I'm going to take my exposure down to 0.3, because then it's going to show the true tone of this. And then we're going to get a picture of the shoulders first. And then we will do the length. And then we will do the chest area. And probably do the bottom on this one. Anything that I know that I'm going to probably use the word baggy or loose, which is really popular in skate and streetwear aesthetics. Anytime I know I'm going to probably use that in my descriptions, I want to make sure I get a picture of that bottom hem to show that the shirt doesn't taper in, that it actually tapers out. And the loose and baggy aesthetic is very, very, very popular right now. And so you really want to get that word in there. Streetwear, hip hop, loose, baggy, skate. Those are all very important words to get in there if you are focusing on any clothing that's like that. Let's take a look. DW says, Tino. I've been watching Tino's videos. Hey, Tino. I reposted actually one of the best videos I think I've ever seen on TikTok earlier today. And it was one of Tino's videos. And it was literally start to finish a day of how he does like retail arbitrage and goes into like a Nike store or into like a store that sells Nikes, what he's looking for, how he does it, which ones he buys and which ones he doesn't, why he buys them, why he doesn't, how to balance out your profit margins. It's a really good video. So if you guys go over to my reposted videos, you'll see it. I really enjoyed it. Like usually when I'm watching TikTok, I'm kind of watching it and doing, 14 other things at the time. I literally stopped in my tracks and watched that thing like literally start to finish. So it was just it was a good one. So Tino, giving you a shout out on that one. Pants. Yes. If it's been altered after you measure the items. Is that a statement, busy mom, or is that a question? Do you only thrift or do you go to the bins? I have never been to the bins. I have only been to Goodwill in our town one time. And I've been to a little local thrift store here 4 times. However, I have been to probably close to 1,000 garage sales this summer already. So I'm the garage sale girl. I do garage sales, yard sales, sometimes estate sales, although I don't do a lot of hard goods. So by the time someone has an estate sale, it's usually the clothing has already been donated. Man, I had the sweetest flicking setup in Washington. I made friends with a lady that owned one of the big estate companies down there. And it was a really cool estate company too. Like they priced their stuff really reasonable. It wasn't like some of the ones you go to where it's like outrageous pricing. And I wanted to make good friends with her, and she knew that I did this. And so what she would do is when they got an estate, because typically at estate sales, you don't see a lot of clothing, and usually the family doesn't want to deal with it. So they'll just like pre-donate it before the estate people come in. So what she would do is she would tell the families, like, hey, before you donate any clothes, I have some people that might be interested in it. And she would let me come out and look and pick out the clothing I wanted before it got donated. So I need to find that hookup here in this town. I need to like make friends with some of the estate people, the estate sale companies here, and let them know that, hey, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right? It can't hurt asking. So I might as well try. I just, it was such a good hookup. I definitely, we make these connections places, and I obviously I don't regret moving because I love it here, but that was like one of the like, bummer situations. All right. Our chest on that is 21.5 across. Also, when I do chest measurements, I do, across and then also around, And I'll show you what I mean by that in a second, because that is super helpful for people. There's different styles of like learning. Some people are going to measure themselves for a shirt like this. And then some people are going to go like this and think 18. Oh, okay, that's 36 around. So how companies do it is most companies measure the circumference of the chest when they put down their measurements. But like the average buyer that's never worked in a clothing store or anything like that may just go like this to see what size they are. And so in my listings, I do both. And I'll show you what I mean by that too. Let me just type in shirt here. And we'll get to the one that we just listed. And then you'll see. So I do, this is a polo. So there's two different lengths because top, front and back. But this is how I do it. I do the chest. So I write 28 across and then I have 56 around. And that way I'm making sure, here's my thing, is I'm always thinking, I want as many eyes on my listing as possible, right? We all do. You guys, Busy wants that. Felix wants that. Yes, pit to pit is so dirty. That's why we use chest or bust. We all want as many eyes on our listings as possible. So my thought is, I want to make sure I'm hitting all the learners. I want to hit the kinesthetic learners. I want to hit the cognitive learners. I want to hit all the peoples that are out there. So if some people are going to measure themselves like this, and some people are going to think how clothing places do it and measure all around, let me get both those in my listings. If some people are going to read only the title or only description, let me get both of those in. If some people are only going to look at the measurements for themselves by looking at the photos, then let me hit those people. I want to hit the people that are going to actually read the descriptions and look at the actual numbers. I want to hit everybody. So I'm going to put as much little caveats in there as I can. It takes an extra 2 seconds to do it, and you're so much more likely to sell your stuff quickly. I haven't tried the bins, Keegan, because I haven't needed to. I mean, we're still working on inventory from 3 weeks ago at garage sales. I have 40 boxes of resale stuff in my garage. Like, I just have an overabundance of stuff because I go to like 40 garage sales every Saturday. 2 Saturdays ago, I went to 122 of them. So I just have so much stuff I haven't needed to. Yeah, I was just posting about what you said to screenshot to help myself and others to save it. Oh, got it. Thank you, Busy Mom. I was trying to figure out, I was like, is that a question or a statement? Okay, gotcha. How do you choose the price and where to post? I apologize if you answer these questions. Nope. So already today. No, don't apologize. Are you kidding me? Like, we all learn, we all come in here at different times, right? So I choose the price by a couple different ways. I'm going to look up what the average sale price is on eBay. I do a lot of sell similar. So when I buy something or when I'm going to list something, I go into sell similar to find other people that have sold it. I hit the sell similar buttons. I'm looking for sold comps. So I can generally kind of just guess what the price is going to be. If you wanted to get really technical, you could pop into eBay here and go down to, you can either look up on Terapeak. So that's Terapeak. Terapeak also has this as an option on the desktop version. I do everything pretty much mobile here. But if you go onto your eBay and you scroll down to where it says product research, this is a newer thing. It'll pull up this and then you can just look up, like, let's look up men's 511 Levi's. We're going to look that up and it's going to tell me what the average selling price for that is. Now, that doesn't mean that's exactly what you need to price it at, but it's just going to give you like a general idea. I would say that's pretty much on the money. I get anywhere between 19 to 27 on my 511s, depending on the condition of them. So that's probably about right. So that's a great little way to find that out. Yeah, Busy. I like that you're helping. I appreciate that. Hey, Dainty Divas. That's on eBay. Yeah. So, and eBay has so many different cool, like, little things you can do, like Terapeak and the product search and stuff like that. That's why I list on eBay first, to be honest, guys. eBay asks the most questions. They have the most tools to find out how much something sold for. So I'm always going to list on eBay first. I use that sell similar because it saves me a ton of time. And then I'm going to import that into my Vendu and I'm going to cross list there. That's my method. I know other people have other methods. If you guys do something a little bit differently, please feel free to offer that advice too, because our brains all work differently. So it's nice to hear from different people, different ways to do it. You're welcome, Megan. I'm happy. Still trying to learn all the things. Hey, I get you. That's like me when I first started listening on Poshmark and Depop. I'd been already doing eBay for just a little bit, not very long, but I was so used to eBay. And then I remember posting my first thing, cross-listing my first thing. My finger was like shaking. I was so nervous. I'm like, oh, I didn't mess this up. And I've messed up a few things and it still happens from time to time, but that's what we do. Always learning, always stretching, always growing. Besides Posh, who is a good cross lister that's not expensive. Right now, I have too much invested. So I don't know what pricing is everywhere. Like I said, I do Vendu. I know Vendu has a pretty inexpensive base package. It's the first one I started out with. I believe I got like 2 weeks free, first of all, which was great. And then after that, I started with the like 100 listings a month. I think it was like $20 or something like that. So that's now I use the biggest package I can get on Vendu because I'm listing so many things. But when I was first kind of starting out, that's what I was doing. And I just budgeted that into my, my budget. So yeah. One shop is a flat 45 a month. There you go. There's so many different ones to use. You just got to find, the best pricing and the one that you like the best. Okay. We're going to get this cleaned up. So this is kind of a really cool item. I've had it for a little while. It had some spots on it that I wanted to get out, and I did successfully get a few out. I really wish I could have gotten even more because this is such a rare boy. Because it has a few little flaws, it'll probably end up selling over on Depop. It's got just a couple really light spots here. I mean, I got out as much as I could, but I always look at it like this. Time is money, right? So I put about maybe 10 minutes into this shirt total. I'm not going to put any more time into it because the extra $5 or $6 I could get is just not worth me trying to mess with it. I also have learned the hard way that the more I mess with things, the more likely I am to actually make it worse. I have ruined Kate Spade purses. I have ruined Nike hooded sweatshirts. I have ruined the bottom of a pair of high heels trying to get a price tag off. I have definitely done some damage from time to time. And so my take now is I'm going to use my gadgets and my tricks and my things to try to get the majority of stuff out. But I'm just not going to mess with stuff too much, right? Like, I think especially when we're first getting started, or if you're like me and you're a bit of a perfectionist, I like things to be perfect. I like to know everything. I like to be confident in what I'm saying. That's just who I am as a person. I will research something down to the millimeter if I need to, because it's something I need to know in my brain. Now, don't ask me to balance your checkbook. That's going to be a disaster. But like when it comes to like wanting to know all the little tidbits, I'm definitely all about that. So I had the tendency at the beginning to really be a perfectionist, and any other resellers that are in here, if you guys can chime in too, so we all feel kind of better together. If this happened to you at the beginning, I tried to make everything perfect, and I realized that nothing's perfect. And that the more I tried to do that, the more time I wasted, the more money it cost me, and the more likely I was to ruin something. So now I just kind of roll with the punches. I disclose everything in the listing, pop $2 off the price, and move on. Mrs. Reisner, aka the Risner, I've decided you're both, who, fun fact, is not a fourth grade teacher. She's a seamstress, but I secretly think that she's a fourth grade teacher on the side, is here. All right, let's get a picture of this. Yeah, so this is a total fire piece. This will probably wind up selling over on Depop. This is about as rare as you can get. So what this is this is a San Diego Zoo County Fair 2004. So technically it's vintage. Centennial celebration, San Diego Zoo or San Diego Fair, and it's a staff shirt. So you can see it has one tiny little spot there. Mrs. Risner, I got a question for you. I saw on another person's post on TikTok that I'm following, she had a sweater that had an oil stain on it. She said that she used Lester oil and it got the stain out. Is that true? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? I looked it up on the A Smile store and all I saw was Lestoil, Lestoil, but it looked like a cleaner. Is that what she's talking about or is it something different? Because I've gotten tons of stuff like Dickies work shirts and Harley stuff that will have like oil stains on it and nothing I have takes it out. So I am really, really curious. Oh, yes, Vicky, thank you. Vicky says, tap the screen, you guys, give the love. I love it. That makes me happy. Yeah, San Diego. How cool is this? What a rare boy, right? Murphy's oil soap is what you use. Okay, I'm writing this down. Risner Reisner, we're writing this down. Murphy's oil soap. Guys, she knows. She's like a literal master seamstress. Oh, by the way, I have a jacket that I need to replace the zipper thing on, this little guy. It's like a vintage Mexico soccer jacket. And I got this online and I got this. So I may have to do a duet with you at some point. Show me how to get that on there. Also, question with the Murphy's oil soap. Do you just put it on and leave it on there and then wash it off? How long does it sit for? Oh my goodness. Mrs. Rice Risner is going to be like, I'm never coming in here again. She's going to put me to work. I'm going to have all the seamstress questions for you now. You can't escape. I have you now. Hey, Shani and Julie. Oh my goodness. Okay. So we're putting this in here. This is item 968. This would be another one of those items that would be good to mark up in your Depop store to drive that traffic because it is so crazy unique, hard to find. It's in a great size because it's an XL. I mean, you can't get much cooler than that. And, 2004, so it's vintage. So our length on that is 30 in the front, 32 in the back. Very important on shirts. If you're writing down the measurements, that you write down the front and back measurements. Now, if I'm doing in the specifics on eBay, I usually just put the longest measurement in there. But in my description, I will always put front, 32 inches, back 34 inches. This is really imperative, like if you're doing like Ralph Lauren polo shirts, because they have that a lot. A lot of dadcore Hawaiian shirts or like eclectic grandpa vests will also be like that. So very important to do that on that as well. Okay, shoulders and then shoulders, length. And I didn't do the bottom on that. Oh, do we not do chest? Well, good gravy, Charity. What are you doing? What are you doing with your knife? You got to do the chest in there. Come on. So we're going to just be a little cheesy here. I'm just going to find out what the length is, kind of place that on the board. We're going to be a little, get up there. We're just going to be a little bit hasty with this because we don't need to be, I don't want to rehang it. That's the real truth. I just don't want to have to rehang it. That just seems like way too much work. I've already put 10 minutes into this shirt. The pliers are for the zipper stop only. Use a screwdriver to pry off the old head. The old head is actually gone. So that's why I needed the new head, is because it's got the zipper on it. But this little thing, I'm assuming this is called the zipper head, is gone. Now, I have to get those things off though, right? That are on the bottom of the jacket, those little tabby things. I have to plier those off and then put the new zipper on and then plier the new zipper tabbies on. I'm assuming, right? Front and back measurements for the chest, for the length. Doesn't matter. Chest doesn't matter for, you don't need to do both. You don't need to do front and back on the chest, just on the length. And this only goes for shirts that have the different lengths. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So on this one, and Ralph Lauren polos are famous for this. If you look at this, see how the front is shorter than the back? That's not because of the way it's hung. It's just because of the way the cut of the shirt. It's probably shrunk up a ton because of the vertical stitching here. pulled it up a little bit, where it doesn't have the seam in the back. So a lot of guys want to make sure, because if a man is buying an extra large or a 2XL, they may have the kind of shape where it is going to bow a little bit in the front. No, I'm not talking about you, honey. I love you. So it's very important that you put both of those lengths in there. Mama Bear, Essential Urban Wellness. Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, so what do we have for the chest on that? I don't think I remember the measurement. 24 across, so 48 around. Okay, next thing we've got is a pair of Rock and Republics. Pick these up for $1 at a garage sale. They are in absolutely sickeningly great condition. That has the back double R's on it. Along with this is actually like a silver embroidered thread. So you'll be able to use a lot of different descriptive and trigger words on there. You've got rock and roll, rock concert, biker, MMA, affliction, hardcore, punk. But then with these Rock Republics, you could also put in probably Western. And all I'm doing here is just taking off any little things. Get yourself a little pair of these. You can find them in the old Linkater on the old wall. And I really like these ones. I bought a different pair, and I actually didn't like them. They were like a smaller pair. I just like these ones bigger because my fingers can fit in them a little bit better. So you can go with the smaller ones if you like. But these ones, I feel like I can get my fingers in and out a little bit easier. They were not expensive. And they definitely helped me to not have to deal with all of the little hairs and flaws and things that get on our used clothing. Okay, got a front picture. We're gonna do this top. Then we're gonna do hips. And hips are usually about, depending on the pair of pants, it's usually gonna be about an inch from the bottom of the zipper seam is about where the hips are gonna be. I mean, you gotta kind of use your best judgment on that. Also, a little trick when you're getting this rise, when you go to photograph pants, they're generally gonna look like that, right? If I take a picture of them like that and I try to show the rise, people aren't gonna be able to really see that number. So if you just take your fingers here and just pop that open a little bit, when you take a picture, then you'll be able to see that space, and then it'll look like that, so that the person can actually see the rise number rather than not seeing it. And then we're going to do inseam, and that just goes from that seam all the way down. These are long boys. These are like 34.5 inches. So that's great. And like I said, I mean, these are almost like brand new. I don't even know if these have been worn, but we're going to mark them as used, because unless something literally has never seen the light of day or has tags on it, I am not putting new on it, because I do not want to deal with someone being like, I got this item. Oh my gosh, the white golf hat. How could I not remember this? So I sold this guy a white, it wasn't Callaway. What was it? It was a golf brand. I don't even remember. It had the cardboard still in it. I mean, we're talking, this thing was literally new. Like, it had not been worn. It was white. It was crisp. It was perfect. I even sent it in a box. I mean, you can't get, much more detailed than that. And this guy tried to leave me a negative review and get his money back, because he says, his thing said, it looks like when it was being packaged, it was manhandled with dirty, dusty hands, as if it was thrown on the floor. I mean, we're talking like a drama for your mama, as if it was thrown on the floor and then picked up with smudged hands. And then he tried to send a picture in. And I believe this was on eBay, because I wasn't even selling on any other platforms at this time. And this is like one of the like first kind of like things I sold that wasn't one of my mom's things. So I'm looking through those pictures, and like the pictures looked perfect. Like there was nothing on them, the ones he sent in. So eBay actually wound up siding with me, which that so rarely happens. But even the eBay person was like, I don't see anything. Like, it literally looks crisp. He's like, well, you can't tell from the pictures. And the eBay person's like, well, sir, if we can't tell from the pictures, then there's nothing that can be done. You're not getting a refund. So I went in and automatically blocked that buyer. I'm like, I'm not dealing with that again. But I just thought that was so ridiculous. As if it was picked up with the dirty, smudgy hands. Hey, honey. Nope, can't hear me. Nope. Oh, can you grab me a glass of water? Do you remember, you know what story I was just telling? You know what I was just remembering? The white golf hat with the dirty and dusty hands, as if it was thrown on the ground and then picked up by the smudges of.
You ever heard of cleaning?
And it wasn't dirty. Yeah,
I know, but even if it was, how did it be so dirty?
So dirty, filthy.
Wipe it
She
off.
threw it on the ground, and it was as if the dirty hands. She had been eating 40 chocolate bars and then smeared it on the hat over and over.
I think he went golfing.
I think he went golfing and got his hat dirty and then wanted to complain about it. Unfortunately, the pictures he sent in were all crisp and white still. So I don't know. Oh, no. That's right. He washed it. Remember? Because that was also in there. He was like, I had to wash the hat. That's what it was. That's why eBay sided with me too. They said, oh, it doesn't look dirty. And he had admitted that he washed the hat. And because it had been a new with tags item, he altered it. That's what it was. Yep, on the nose. Yep. That was one of my first things I sold. That was way back in the day. That was a baby reseller. Just a regular one would be fantastic. Okay, 1002. And we've got our Rock Republics. Ooh, it is warm, boy, in here. I gotta turn this fan up. Woo! We hot. All right. And these are supposed to be a 29. It says, let's find out what they are now. All right, our ankle is a 7. Our inseam is a 34. We'll call that a 34. Our rise is 8. Yeah, it's like 8.5. And then our hips are 34 and our waist is 34. I don't know where they're getting size 29 because those pants are absolutely nowhere near a 29 anywhere. So I bet you these were like mislabeled or something. I have a suspicion. I bet the person that bought these pants probably, because they don't look worn, you guys. I mean, these literally are like crisp, like out of the store. I bet you they bought these thinking they were size 29 and they're like mislabeled or something, and then they didn't fit them because these are 100% a 34 waist and the inseam is 34. There is nothing that says 29 about those. So I probably won't even include the 29 in the listing. I'll put it in the description. Pants say 29. I believe that they are mislabeled. This is the measurements. Ooh, Crystal, thank you for the follow. See if I can catch up here. Do I miss anything? Yes. So when I do the full chest measurement, are you only measuring the front and then timesing it by 2? That's exactly what I'm doing. That's exactly it. Some people are so dramatic. She loves things. I know. It was so wild. Like, I had to wash the hat. No, you wore it out golfing. You got it dirty. You put it in the washing machine, which you don't do with hats, and you probably ruined it. And now you want your $16.99 back. Well, sir, you will not be receiving your $16.99 back. You will be receiving an absolute not, and I will be keeping your $16.99. Thank you and have a nice day. Okay, next item we've got here is a new with tags item. This is a pair of Carhartts. These are FRs. So if you are out in the wild and you see this, it means that it is flame resistant. These are typically worn by linemen. There's a lot of other people that wear them. I just know that because my son actually designs FR clothing. This is actually his company up here. And they are a made in the USA flame resistant company. They have some really funny t-shirts and some funny stuff. If you guys feel like popping over to his site, just look that up and you'll find it. It's called Coming Hot. And because I found out why it's called Coming Hot too. This is a fun fact. So linemen, when they're up doing electrical work, and they obviously are turning things off while they're working on it, when they turn something back on, they yell down the line to the other linemen, coming hot, which means that the electricity is coming back down the pole. It's like, dude, I love learning little caveat stuff like that. So The thing about this stuff is that it's really expensive. It's harder to find. And there's only a couple companies that do it. Coming Hot, which is my son's company, Carhartt. There is another company starts with a T, and now I'm not remembering it. Who is it? I can't remember. Anyway, these are great. These are probably 65 retail. I would say I'll probably sell them for 65. I have 3 pairs of these. I picked each of these up for $5 at a garage sale. So I spent 15, and then we'll make 65 times 3 minus fees. Let's just say we probably are going to clear 180 probably total on them. Now, each of these still has the tags on it. They're all exactly the same size. So I am just going to take pictures of one of them, and then I'm going to do quantity 3. I also always do volume discounts. So if you're a newer buyer and you don't know about this, come on, there you go. If you're a newer buyer and you don't know about this, if you go into I think you can do this on your mobile, but I always do it on the computer. Go into your listings and then go into volume, and you can put a discount on. So what I do is I do 10% off if you buy one. Oh, am I doing this backwards? I think I have 10, 5, and 2. So you get 10% off the first one, 5% off the second, 2% off the other, or maybe I have it the other way. I can't remember now. I've had it set since I started, but it just encourages people to buy more. And then that way you're packaging it all together. You also, though, then this is very, very important. Make sure that when you do that, that you go into the listing itself and actually edit the listing inside of the descriptions on the computer. I can't show you on my phone. It's not on there. The shipping. Otherwise, it's going to do 2 things. It's either going to charge the same shipping for the multiple items. So like if this person bought a pair of pants and they want to buy 2, and I was charging $8.90 for shipping, it would charge them $8.90 and then $8.90. You're able to change that on the computer. So I would do $8.90 for the first pair, and then I would do like $2 for the second pair, $2 for the third pair. That way I can combine it all together. I still make a little on shipping, but they don't have to pay that shipping price over and over. So either it'll make it the same, or I had this happen with the listing once where it made it $0. So the person bought like 3 Gorpcore jackets or something, sweaters or something like that. But what happened was I had free shipping on all the other ones. So they only paid like $8.90. I had to ship 3 of them, and it literally cost me like $14 or $15 to ship them. So I kind of ate it on that. So you can change that, but you have to do that internally on the listing itself. So yeah, FR equals fire resistance. Exactly. I always say flame resistant too, accidentally. I think I sold some Rascos too. Rasco, yeah, I think that might be a Bullwick. Bullwick's another one to look for. Bullwick, I sold a vintage Bullwick jacket for like $80 or something. I picked it up for $1 at a church rummage sale. Oh, there, Mrs. Reisner. Of course she knew that because she knows everything. She's the smartest woman on the planet, and nobody can tell me that that's not true. I don't usually have multiple quantity items, but when I do, sometimes, but yeah, I mean, if you can get the multiple items, it's always nice because it's an easy list. I'm getting ready to go through all my listings. This will make it quicker. Okay. All right. So we're going to get pictures of these. And then, like I said, I'll be able to just do the ×3. I'm going to change my exposure down to -3 so that they still look like they're a nice, rich black color, which they are. And then really important on any fire resistant stuff that you get a picture of all the specs. So most of the pants, I know Carhartt does this, will have the specs on there so that you know what the what category is it? Is it a category 1, category 2? You know, there's different EH electrical hazard ratings for different things. Shoes do this too. So it's really important to write those down. Otherwise, if someone's interested, they either are going to buy it from someone else that has that, or they're going to have to message you and take that time to do it. And in my experience, not everyone does that. So if you can get that in the listing, I mean, if it's new, it's even better because it has all the categories on there. You can just take a picture of that. But another trick for this, so I was selling I had some Timberland shoes. I just listed women's rating, non-metal conductive plate shoes, which are like for women working on like electrical stuff. They won't get electrocuted. And didn't have the specs on it. So all I did was just Google Lens it, and then I found where it was able to find them for sale, and I could get the specs off of. I think I actually got it from the Smile store, and you can get it that way. So if you're having a hard time finding it, it just is really important with this kind of specialty stuff that you really get a picture of all the different tags. Because a lot of companies, I know the company that my son's business partner works for, he's a lineman, and they're only allowed to wear certain standard clothing. It has to meet the category expectations, or they're not actually allowed to wear it on the job. So if you have anything that's specialty like this, and that goes for shirts, that goes for jackets, that goes for pants, and it goes for shoes, make sure you get all that stuff down. It's going to make a huge, huge, huge difference in your sales. And it looks like these are a 2019. So remember how we were talking about being able to date stamp your Carhartts? So Carhartts usually appear on, I guess it would be the left side if you're looking at it straight on. It'll usually have a 4-digit code there, and it'll be the month and the year. So these are a 2019. And I'll put that in my listing, because if someone's company says, oh, you can only use fire resist or flame resistant from the era of 2022 on for insurance purposes, you don't want someone to get these pants not knowing that. So we're definitely gonna write that down. However, there might be that person that's out there that's like, oh man, I don't like the new flame or fire resistant, however you want to say it. I don't like the new versions of it. I only like the 2019s. So that's why it's also important to write that in there. And because we've got 3 of these, we're just going to bag all 3 of those up, and I don't have to take pictures of everything else. What's your 90-day? What is my 90-day artifacts? I don't know that I know what you mean by that. 90-day plan? Do you ever iron or steam your clothes? I steam. Yeah, I steamed these before I got on here with you guys. So what I do is I hang my stuff up the night before. And then I have a little spray bottle. Where's my little spray bottle? I was just using it. I have a little spray bottle that's just distilled water. You can use regular water. I have to use distilled because our water's so hard here. And I just go over. I have all this. I have a rack right here. Here, I can actually turn so you guys can see it. So I have a rack right here with all the clothes hanging up. And I just spray this, and then the water from the environment and the water from the spray bottle helps to kind of like unwrinkle it through the night. And then the next day, I just use my steamer on it, and I just have like a stand steamer. I pop the shirts and everything on here, and then I just do a quick steam. I always use this, which this is in the Smile store in my Linkity. I use this thing. Please use one of these if you're using a steamer, whether you get it from our Linkity or you get it somewhere else. This is going to keep your hand from burning. If you scroll down my TikTok from like forever ago, you'll see what I did before I had this and why I got this. Like, it was pretty brutal. I lost about a week of work because I burned my hands so badly, and it steamed literally. It burned me in like 5 seconds. I didn't even have it on there that long. It just was like, oh. So I always use that now. I don't iron anything though. Oh, last 90-day sales on eBay. That's a good question. eBay is my second highest platform. What are we at right now? We are at $62.59. Plus, I make about $1 to $2 on every item I ship. And then my Depop is always about double that. So we're doing, I would say, about 3,400 on Depop probably a month. I think I'm probably doing 21 to 2200 on eBay, and then on Posh, probably 600 or 700 a month. Grailed 100 maybe, and then Mercari's probably like 500 because I always cash out every 100 on Mercari, so probably about 500. So my goal is by this time next year to be doing 6 figures doing this. So yeah, Depop's my highest by tons. Huge margin, huge. With that setup, I expected 25K. Yeah, I'm working on it. So I have only been doing full-time reselling now for about 5 months. Before that, I hadn't done anything. My store was off for about 5 or 6 months because we had moved, and then I had fallen and herniated a disc in my back. And then before that, I was just selling my mom's stuff from when she passed away. So it was just me, like some hard goods and some decorations. So I really have only been like actually taking this seriously for about 5 months now. And at the beginning, it was taking me close to an hour to get a listing up. So it was slow going in the beginning. The biggest push I've ever had is we had gotten a huge lot of video games. And we made like, I don't know, like 13 grand in a month or something like that, just from the video games. But I had a whole bunch of old vintage bad boys, and it was amazing. But yeah, so I'm getting there. I'm working on it, man. I am definitely working on it. The goal is, like I said, to be doing 6 figures by this time next year. And I fully believe if I keep listing at the rate that I'm able to now, because before I was only getting maybe, like at the beginning, I'd get maybe 3 to 5 listings up a day. And then halfway through the last 5 months, I was probably getting maybe 7 to 12 up a day. And then over this last month, I don't know if you saw any of my videos, but I did a 30-day push. So I did 30 days of full consistency where I listed at least one item every single day, and just really pushed. That 1 month of doing it is the best thing I could have ever done for this business, you guys. Seriously, go back through my videos, start from day 1, go up if you want. But it helped me to clear out a bunch of old stuff from my inventory. I had a bunch of plush I had no business having that I've got now for a whatnot show later. And then I went through and found all my lost inventory. My store had been dormant for 6 months, so I had so much stuff to do to like get it back to being good. My old listings were terrible. I hadn't been cross-listing. I've only been cross-listing on Depop now for 3 months. So it hasn't even been that long. And now I would say I can easily get up anywhere between 15 to 30 listings every day. But that's, of course, depending on the day, what I've got going on, if we've got, appointments or other life stuff to tackle. Obviously, I can't do those big numbers, but I try to get like 20 up every day. So I figure if I get 20 up a day, 4 of those items will sell quickly, as in that day, or 4 items from my old inventory. I always operate by the law of 20%. If you don't know what that is, you can look up. There's a whole bunch of really good videos on that, guys. Law of 20%. And if I can sell, we figured it out actually the other night. Our goal is to sell at least, right now, is to sell at least 10 items every day with an average sale price of like $30. That'd be $300 profit. $300 a day would be incredible. And that would start getting us towards that big goal that we've got for the 6 figures. If I could sell 20 a day at an average price of 30, that's really what I'm trying to go for. So that's where I'm headed, is the 20 items a day. I watch a lot of resellers that do big volume, and that seems to be kind of like their banger like amount. Like if they can have an item sell for $30 on average, and then if they can do 30 items of that every day, that's huge. 20 to 30 every day is really big. So that's what I'm working on, folks. That's my plan, and I'm sticking to it. I'm trying. We're gonna get there. I believe, guys. I believe. All right, so it looks like now on these here, they're new with tags, so I don't really have to be that crazy. I have the measurements in the listing or in the pictures. I'll probably still put them down, but they're brand new pants. So like, I don't really need to, I'm just showing the measurements, like unless Carhartt is like completely off with their sizing, which they never are. I hope that was a good answer for the 90 days thing. I did 64 listings the other day. Artifacts. That's incredible. What are you listing? I'm curious. What do you do? Are you like a toys person? Are you like, I don't know if I've seen your page before. That's amazing. Heck yeah. What is that background? A movie screen? No, it's a foam board and felt. If you go over to the old YouTubies and just look up my name, I have a 2-minute video on there how to build this or what we used. It's not expensive to do and it's super simple. Thank you, Hustle. Yes, I always boost on Depop. Always 10%, always, no matter what. Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking sale. Yes, I always boost on Depop. I always boost. Everything's boosted. Everyone's life and business model is different. Yeah, it's the beauty of this business. Heck yeah, it's customizable. Yeah, you're very welcome. You're very welcome, me, my own. Yeah, Mike. Yay, Mike. Okay. Moving along here, we've got a pair of Mike does some amazing numbers. I don't want to share because I don't want to share his own personal information. But Mike sells something kind of unique. It's really cool. Like I was chatting with him one day, and it's amazing. You just boosted. In Indy, it takes some time. Also, remember on Depop, I know that I think you said you like Depop. On Depop, things take time too to get in the algorithm. So just be patient. It tends to be for the pricing of my stuff. It usually runs me about $1.36 to $2.37 when I boost an item, but I don't have to pay any buyer or seller fees except for that little transactional fee. So I just build that into my pricing. My YouTubies is the same as here. All you got to do is look up nice comps, one word. Hey, Jenna. Okay. This is a nice little pair of True Religions. These always sell really well for me. This is a total Bolo brand. You guys probably already know that. If Miss Reisner is still in here, I want her to see this because this is literally one of the most unique like bottoms I've ever seen. It has this really interesting, the hem is over here, but it's like it twists. They're so strange. Like you think if you just followed the seam down that it would stay flat, but it doesn't because it almost like twists. And I've just never seen anything like these before. I have never come across a pair of pants like this ever. And I'll show you guys what I mean. So like if you follow this inseam here, it doesn't go down the pants. It actually goes like in and around. It is twist. Put that in your listing, twist. I feel like I saw her call it something specific one day. And I don't remember if I saw it on one of her videos or if she commented on one of ours. Is Havoc, is it just called twist? I've just never seen a hem like this before. It's so cool and unique. So I'll probably ask a little bit extra for these just because it's like they're just so unique. I've just never seen anything like this before. And it doesn't look like a misprint. It's not like it's, accidentally made like that. It is definitely made like it's supposed to be like this. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool, man. Pretty cool. All right, let's get a picture here of the top. And then we're going to do the thighs. And then we will get the rise. And again, if you just take your hands here and just pop that open, it'll just get you way better pictures for the rise. And then we do the length. And then we do the bottoms, which holy smokes. That is a 10.5-inch flare on the bottom there. That is wild. Absolutely wild. I don't think I've seen any with that size. So that's really cool. These are the Joey Big Tees. So I've seen Joey's before. So Big T, that must be On the back of True Religions, it always has the model. So I've seen Joey's before. I haven't seen Joey Big T. I wonder if that's what they're calling that bottom. I wonder if the T, Havoc, I wonder if the T stands for twist. I think it was twist. She mentioned it the other day. Okay, so yeah, perfect. That must be what it is. I bet you that T, the big T, is for twist there. Jennifer says she definitely knows. I'm telling you guys, Mrs. Reisner might be the smartest woman about fabrics of anyone I've ever met. I was watching some of her videos, and that woman knows her stuff. 100%. 100%. Hey, K. Ross. All right, let's get these packaged up here. So yeah, these cost us $1 at a garage sale. So can't go wrong with that. We figured it out the other day. I think Justin and I sat down and figured it out. And we spend around anywhere between like $600 to $800 a month sourcing. And then I think we're doing anywhere between like $4,500 to $5,500, depends on the month. I expect it to kind of go up now that we're going to hit fourth quarter. So that's a pretty good margin. Like if we're only spending like anywhere between $600 to $800 a month, and then we're able to do that. Like I was figuring that out like mathematically the other day, and I was pretty proud of that. Like I was definitely having a proud moment about that. I was just thinking about that because we were just talking about finance stuff. And if you are newer and you're like, man, there's no way I'm ever going to make that. Guys, I wasn't making that just a few months ago. I need everyone in here to really understand this. I haven't been doing this a long time. Like I literally have been full-time for almost 5 months now. The first 2 months, I probably spent fixing my inventory. The next month, I started cross-listing on Depop. I haven't even been able to cross-list on Mercari except for the last 6 weeks because my Zendu software would not work with Mercari. There was a handful of accounts that for some reason, no matter what you did, you couldn't get them fixed. I had to talk to corporate about it. I had to go through all these steps, and then I wound up finding the answer in a Reddit thread. So just it's about that consistency and just believing. Like you see me or you see, other people in here that are making these crazy amounts of money, or you see people that are, on other videos, they're talking about how much money they're making and everything like that. And that is awesome. And I'm so proud. And that's where I want to be. And that's where I'm going. But we all start out with $1 and we all start out somewhere. So if you're like, I'll never do it, or could I ever do it? You can, I promise. And if you're not full-time and you're just doing this for some dabbling money or happy money or fun money, that's great too. Not everybody's trying to, make a gazillion dollars doing this. There's people out there that are just doing this for fun too. So little inspiration for you. If you're feeling, maybe like you're not doing enough, or maybe you're like, but I don't really want to do that much more, then that's fine. There is nothing wrong with that, friends. All right. So 32.5. Looks like our rise on this is an 8. Our hips are going to be a 37.5. And I can hear the thing outside. If you guys hear any chainsaws or anything, like I said, they're redoing my neighbor's driveway. So it's a little crazy out there. My whole street's torn up. And then we've got our waist. It looks like, I'm going to call that 31. Oh, I forgot to take a picture of the... And this is why I look at my listings while I do this, because I always do this. I always forget to take a picture of the actual tag here. All right. So these are made in the USA ones, which is great. True Religions are fantastic. And it looks like, let's see, what else do we have on here? Are we going to be lucky and get a date? We are going to get cut, and that is it. So, but that's okay. Just having that made in the USA, we're going to get a picture of this little tag in the back. It seems like whenever I try to not do a picture of tags, like no matter what tags they are, people will be like, can you take a picture of the second tag that's on there? And I'm like, oh my goodness. I've only had TR like that, like big Buddha styles and so on. Interesting. Yeah. Like I said, I've done quite a few other True Religions. I've just never seen any with that crazy. I mean, look at that flare and twist. Like, that's hardcore. Maybe there's a lot like that, but it's just not something I've ran into before. But then again, most of the True Religions I've ran into and sold have been men's, and that could obviously make a difference. Oh, Tracy, thank you. Hey, it is, right? We are all better together. Yes. You sold Twist on Poshmark for 52. Havoc. Ooh, that gets me excited about these ones. I kind of figured these would probably sell on Poshmark. Now, as long as Poshmark would stop taking $10 to sell them on there, I'd be happy. Mrs. Risner Reisner, we were just chatting about you and our twist jeans here. Got the craziest twist I've ever seen on a pair of pants. Like literally this twist goes all the way down the middle, and that flare is like over 10 inches there in the center. One other thing too, to make sure you guys put in your description, these are called back of knee horizontal whiskers is what this is called. And people like to know that. You'll see that in the front of jeans too. Horizontal whiskers right there. That's what those are called. And people are looking for that in their aesthetic. The other thing you'll see, and you'll see this on Miss Me's a lot, is back in here, it'll look more like a star, and that's called a starburst whisker. Starburst whisker. This is horizontals. The starbursts literally looks like a star. Make sure you write that down because that is a searchable thing for people. Gracious says, there she is. You just call them whiskers. Yep, just whiskers. Yes, absolutely. Kitschy mushrooms here. Next pair of pants we've got is a pair of Luckies. Now, this isn't a brand that I pick up in women's jeans a ton. They do always sell for me. They're just not a huge money seller for me personally. However, y'all know I got these for $1 at a garage sale, so you can't snooze on that. These are also a little bit of an older model, which is great. They've got the little bit, this is called like a straight flare here, where it comes down and just kind of tapers out here and then goes a little bit in the knee and then bows down at the edge here. This would be a straight flare, meaning that the bottom still has that quote unquote boot cut, would be another way to write that. Just so you guys know, the younger generation now, unless they are looking for a Western aesthetic, are less likely to put boot cut as a search. They're more likely to put flare or flared. So on my listings, I do put boot cut, but I also put flare and flared in my description. If you're under the age of 24 and you're searching for them online, you're much more likely to call them flare or flared. Unless you are, like I said, someone that's like a cowgirl, more aesthetic, then you'd call them a boot cut. Even if these said boot cut on them, I would probably still write straight edge flared or straight leg flared on them, as well as boot cut, because then I'm hitting a larger audience by doing that. Otherwise, I'm totally cutting out that like 18 to 24-year-old. And the reason for that is just because this whole boot cut flared situation has really only been popular again for a couple years. Before that, it was, just like the pencil legs, skinny jeans, more of the like emo aesthetic. So if they grew up, in that era, that's really the only jeans that they knew were popular. It's kind of like when I was a kid and boot cut started becoming popular, and I told my mom I wanted boot cut jeans, and I showed her at the mall what that meant. She said, oh, bell bottoms. And I was like, what's a bell bottom? Of course, I know what it is now, but at the time I had no idea what a bell bottom was. I'm not old enough to know that. So if the mall is online now, you got to think of like what the lingo is for the next generation. Otherwise, you're going to end up, missing out on a ton of that age group. Now, with Luckies, one of the things I will do is I will always buy them, because you guys know this. I've said this a million times. If it's button fly, I'm buying it. I don't care what brand it is. It don't matter. If it is button fly, it will sell. That is a big seller. I will probably put that picture of that button fly as my second photo. I usually do front and back first, but I will do that button fly as my second photo because the button fly is going to be what makes that sell. So I would highly, highly suggest doing that. And then we're going to get a picture up close of the tag here, and then we're going to get the insides and have a sip of water. I'm very happy to see you, Vanessa. Havoc said, if anyone ever goes through my text to myself, they would never understand all the random words. No doubt, right? Holy smokes, me too. I despise listing clothes, but you have an amazing setup for photography. Rhinestone Cowgirl, you know, isn't it always interesting? So doing clothing photographing is my favorite. Doing hard goods, ugh. Doing things that are like small repetitive items that are all the same, drives me bananas. Shoes, I don't mind doing it because I got my Lazy Susan setup that I do, so it's fast, but I do pictures of jeans all day before anything else. I put bell bottoms in some of my listings, and you know what, Havoc? That's probably not a bad idea. That's probably something I need to start doing too. Otherwise, I'm cutting out, the 55 and over age group that probably is calling it bell bottoms. It's so funny how we're all different. I love it. I know. She says, Vanessa says, I love hard goods, hate clothes. Isn't it so wild? I love that though. I love that we all get to do something different. We all get to have fun doing it. We're all making money and having a good time. I list vintage antiques. What's the fall trend? So right now, what's really big, clothing wise, aesthetically, is two things are real huge right now. Number one, gigantic, oversized, mega large, huge clothes. So anything that would be considered loose or baggy, think 1993 and 4 hip hop. Mix that with like neon 90s kidcore and Double Dare and anything on Nickelodeon. Put those together, wrap it up in a package of skate Looney Tunes, what was it, Fred Durst look. Huge. So that's number one. The other thing that's really popular right now is the eclectic grandpa look. And you guys are going to start seeing this more and more. And what that is I want you to think of a mixture between like an old zoot suit look, like Zoot Suit Riot, like that whole like zoot era, mixed with like grandpa-y vacation, or a grandpa that lives in a rich community in Florida. So pants with the rolled up bottoms that are a little too short, penny loafers, or like a pair of shiny Oxfords, patent leather shoes, full button up old 60s shirts with the like big lapels, with the sweater vest that's got like a pattern of like Argyle or little whales or something on it. Maybe like the long duckbill cap, or like an old page boy hat. That look is coming in. You guys are going to start seeing that through fall and winter hard for sure. What's kind of going out a little bit is, and it's not out, but it's kind of on its way a little bit, is the like cottage core super grandma look. The grandma sweaters. Now, I will still pick them up right now because they're still selling now. I just am seeing a little trend of that stuff starting to kind of make its way through. I found an old Paco sweater, a jean sweater. Is that a good find? It depends on the aesthetic. It depends on the cut and fit of it. Also on those sweaters, look at the bottom, because the bottoms lose their shape and retention and become a more of a square. If it still bows in a little bit, super huge. Yeah, Oxfords under sweater vest, like Kramer meets Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. Risner, why do you always know? Exactly. Kramer meets the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. Look, can you see it? Goosebumps. That's literal goosebumps because that's so on the nose. I'm telling you. Yeah, take a look at it. So look at those aesthetics, look at those trends. You guys will start seeing that happening. All right, moving along here. We're going to take a picture of these. this inside here, and then we're going to get this here. These aren't super old. I'm going to guess these are like a 2013, I'm going to say. It's got the double beef tag, so we know it's got to be a little bit older. They're made in Mexico. Yeah, they might be a little new. They might be a little older than that. They maybe were like a 2011. So this would be a great pair of pants to call like a post Y2K. These were probably made because this look was starting to go out at the time. So that look of the flared bottoms, it was really big, like Paris Hilton, Bratz, Clueless, or not Clueless, Mean Girls. That was kind of like starting to like go out a little bit. And the skinny indie jeans were starting to come in. If you look at these pants right here, imagine that flare was gone, and you can totally see that like 2015 aesthetic right there. So that just tells me kind of how old these are. So if you guys are trying to figure out the date of stuff, a lot of times is I'll just look at, besides looking at the tags, I'll also kind of look at the construction of it. Now, I know that flares were really popular from like 2003, let's say, to like 2013-ish, 14 latest. Then after that, you've got the whole skinny jeans, emo, which had already started a little bit, but people were kind of half and half. It never really went out in Western wear, but you did see a lot of girls. Remember back in like 2010 to like 2013, you'd see a lot of girls wearing like the skinny jeans, but they'd still be wearing like the taller boots. And that's like your people that were like so used to wearing boots with the flares and the cowgirl kind of look, trying to transition over. I'm curious when that's going to come back. I haven't really seen much of it yet with like the high boots. Let's see, that was really big in 2000, and really, if I think about it, it was like 2010 to like 2014 is really when I remember seeing the most of that. 2015 at the very latest. So probably maybe like 2000 or 2026, 27. I have a feeling we're going to start seeing long sweaters, tight leggings, tall scrunch or ruched boots. I have a feeling we're going to start seeing that again too. Yes, gothcore is absolutely a look, 100%. So gothcore is just gothic clothes. You just want to make sure you put it all as one word, for sure. Also whimsy goth, which is WHISIMI, whimsy, WHISI. Wait, WHIMISIGOTH. I have it just saved in my notes. So whimsy goth is another one. Goblin core is another one for you to look up. That's kind of like an earthy mushroom look. Trying to think of witch core. I'd be putting that on all your stuff that has even anything remotely to do with Halloween. Anything that has like a Spanish influence but has that kind of like goth look, where like Dale Muertos, any of that. You want to do Lolita core is another one for that. I didn't make these up, guys. This is just what they call it. So yeah, the nice thing is too, if you look any of these up and then just go to images on Google, you'll be able to see what these look like. So Havoc, it's actually WHIMSIGOTH. So what Havoc is saying right here, guys, just take the Y away and replace it with an I. Sorry, I do the dyslexia situation, so I flip things around a lot. Thank you. Riz Reisner. That's your new nickname for me, by the way, Riz Reisner. Because it's actually Reisner, but I want it to be Rizner so bad, so I can call you the Rizzler. Hey, piece by piece. Okay, we're going to have to write these ones down here. What are those? 1007. 1007, and that is our luckies. Yes, perfect. Thank you for writing that down. Yeah, make sure you guys write that. And then Goblin Core is another one to look up. Login Look or Login Core, and that's LAGENCORE. That's another one to look up too. And that's an interesting aesthetic. It's kind of like, it goes in kind of with the cottage core a little bit. The denim whiskers are called, ooh, what is it? Oh my gosh, are we getting knowledge? Everyone get your Post-it notes. Riz Reisner, I keep Post-it notes here because of you, but just so you know. The whiskers are called, is it Hygie? Hyge? Is it like Hygie or Higgy? I don't know. You can't talk, or you verbally on here. Maybe phonetically put that in there. And that is whiskers. So the reason I put whiskers is because that's what most people are looking for. It's pronounced Hige. Gaye. Perfect. I will put that in my listings because why not? The more stuff we've got, it's like reading Rainbow, right? The more you know. Okay, let's get our measurements down here. So these are supposed to be a 427, and let's see our measurements. And they are button fly. We have an ankle of 6.5. We have an inseam of 33.3. We have a rise of 7.5. We have a hips of 32, and we have a waist of 27. Perfect. Denim heads will know and search that. That's good to know. What was the latest gadget you got, and how does it improve your business and or workflow? Ooh, Southern. You guys are on it right now. So I just got myself this thing here. I'll show you what it'll do. I can move you guys back and forth now for these videos. I can literally streamline this all around my room. Before, y'all were just literally on this other tripod I had, which works fine for like when I'm filming out in the living room. But here, my room's so small, I had to pull this table I have right here out. So I only had like this much space to work in. So Justin pushed my table back now, and it's fantastic. It's literally, this is so great. I love it. Do you upload your lives to YouTube? I'm on YouTube right now. In fact, I see I got on here right now. Hi, I'm on YouTube right now, so they're just always there. Oh my goodness, clothes trend has my brain spinning. How do you keep up? It's just something I'm interested in. You know, it's just like anything. Like if something is your business, you're gonna try to keep up with it, and that's how I am with this. I'm just really I'm interested in it because I keep up with it. Now that being said, I also focus on the more alternative-y looking stuff. So like I'm going to be interested in Whimsy Goth. I'm going to be interested in Log and Look. I'm going to be interested in Goblin Core, anything Y2K, because that's the age group. The age group that's looking for trendy items is going to be between the ages of like 18 and 30. And that's mainly what I'm looking for out in the wild, is that age group. I'm learning about all sorts of new brands constantly from y'all, your videos. I just learned about Vuoria, I think it was. Bowden dresses. So I'm learning about that kind of stuff too. But I am such an aesthetic shopper versus name brand. Here, if you guys really want to know the secret. All right, we're going to break this down. We're going to have a sip of water and spill the beans. Here's my thought. If I want to, I can either spend all of my time trying to memorize brands of clothing that I'm not totally interested in. I am not interested in women's dresses. I am not interested in suits. I'm not interested in women's suit fancy dresses. I'm not interested in high heels. I'm not interested in that kind of stuff. I will sell it, but it's not something I'm interested in. I'm not like, ooh, like I look at this. This is a fire freaking horizontally striped twill vintage Northwoods LL Bean. That gets me going, right? I can either spend all my time, though, trying to keep up with the trends of name brands, which there's so many, and they're in and out, and they're popular, and then they're not, and it's so hard to keep up, or I can try to be an aesthetic seller. And what an aesthetic seller is someone that is keeping up with the look of what's popular versus the brands. Because here's my thoughts. If I'm keeping up with the look of what's popular, I can look in the wild and find things at garage sales and buy them because I know that look is popular or that look is about to be popular. Even if it's a shirt from 12 years ago or 14 years ago, I'm like, that's about to be huge. I'm going to pick that up, right? And I did this a lot with like cottage core in the beginning. When I was first sourcing last year, I still got all those 40 boxes in my garage, but I got a bunch of cottage core in there. I probably should have already listed because at the time I was like, okay, that's what's going to be big. So I would rather spend my time focused on what's going to be popular and what is popular and look for that out in the wild, because I'm going to find old things that aren't necessarily the brands that are popular but have that aesthetic. But I'm also going to find the brands that are popular without even realizing it. Because if a company is focused on, y'all remember like last year or 2 years ago when Target had everything that they had was like that, like I'm in Prairie Core, I'm like Little House on the Prairie, poofy sleeves, all that look, right? Very like 70s, 60s look, right? Well, if I saw 60s and 70s dresses in the wild that look like that, I would have picked them up. But then if I saw a bunch of other ones at a garage sale that were a newer brand, I would have picked those up too without even realizing that brand was popular, because I'm picking it up because of the fact that aesthetically that is popular. I hope that makes sense. That could be confusing, but if I'm focused on the look, then I'm going to end up picking up name brand stuff because companies are trying to make clothes that are popular looking now. I'm going to end up with new stuff and old stuff. I hope that makes sense. Yeah. Hi, Miso. Hi, Kitty. Okay, let's get this up here. So this is an amazing, like, twill knit LL Bean. Unfortunately, one of the buttons, oh gosh, what a bummer. The button is busted down here. And the extra button is unfortunately busted. Otherwise, this would definitely be probably a $55 to $65 shirt. We're missing a button there too. Well, you know what, guys? This one might actually be worth, because this is just a super plain button. I'm thinking that this might be worth my time to just pick up 2 of these buttons. Like, they are such basic buttons. And maybe because I can sew a button, I can't sew much, but I can sew a button on like a champ in about 2 minutes. So I think I might do that on this one, because I think just judging by the tag on this, oh man, well, I just got my question answered. This is a made in the USA. So this is a super early 90s LL Bean. Oh yeah, it even has the old flammable fabric notice that they used to have to put on things. Yeah, we're going to do that. I don't always sew stuff. I don't always put it to the side, but for something like that, that I know that I can probably get $55 to $65 for, I'm gonna do that. It's just, that would be silly to not. Okay, instead we'll do this one here. This is a little carbon. Not a brand I'm picking up because it has some insane amount of money, but I picked it up because of the aesthetic. This is a perfect example of what is popular right now. This doesn't have the pearl snap, but it is Western. Western is super popular right now. If you don't believe me, Post Malone just teamed up and put a country Western song out. So you start seeing stuff like that in the music world, and Western is hot, hot, hot. So anything that's got that Western look, I'm going to pick up for sure. This little guy here was 50 cents at a garage sale, so can't go wrong with that. And he unfortunately has a little bit of discoloring down in here. I did try to get it out. I couldn't. So I will lose probably $5 on him, but we'll still probably get like, I don't know, maybe 14 for him. And for 50 cents, I mean, what are you going to do? Can't go wrong with that, right? So measure. And like I said, I will put stain remover on stuff, and then I will put it through the wash. If I can't get it to clean up after that, then I'm out. I'm not going to spend any more time on this. That LL Bean would be an exception, because running into an LL Bean Northwoods made in the USA, vertical twill is like literally impossible. I've never even seen another one of those in the wild. So I'm going to take the extra, 5 minutes on that. But for something like this, that's not that much of a banger, I'm not going to worry about it. Someone will get it on Depop. Yes, easy fix on that one. Do you have a video on your photo setup? I do. Yeah. April, if you go over to my old YouTubies, and just search nice comps. I have a video in there. It's about 2 minutes long, and it'll tell you exactly how I built it and where to get everything. I'm sure you have a donor shirt with similar buttons. You know what? I probably do, actually. Yeah, you're probably right on that. I am going to need to go to Joann's. I had found, you guys probably remember this one, this super banger here. I got a hold of this company and found out where they get their buttons from. And he told me that I can find one. I can find these, almost these exact ones at Joann's Fabrics. So I need to go to Joann's and get that anyway. So I'll just pick up a few of those if I don't have a donor shirt for that. Because that shirt's going to totally be worth it. I mean, gosh, I probably can get 65, 70 bucks on that flame one too. All right, so this is our carbon. And like I said, it's got a stain on it. Now, here's an item. This is an example of what we were talking about earlier. I put a few things on my Depop that are outrageously priced, right? Because I want to troll in people to look at my page. They're very expensive. They're too expensive to sell, right? But it gets people over to my wall, and Depop loves that. So I have a few items that are just super high priced just to get people to go to my Depop and look around, and it bumps me up in the algorithms. But I also have a few items I will list in there for like bottom biscuit basic cheap. A shirt that's got a stain on it. It's not a super hardcore name brand. I could pop this in my Depop for 10 bucks. And here's what's going to happen. There's going to be a dude that wants to buy this Dickies workwear for $26, but he doesn't really want to have to pay for shipping. But if he sees this one in his same size and it's, 10 bucks, and he gets free shipping, I will still make my money back on this. I'll probably make an extra $5 or $6 on it over the 50 cents I spent on the garage sale. Plus, I've gotten 2 things out of my inventory. This dude's got free shipping. He's stoked. I just did this last night. Do you guys remember those slippers? Oh, we just sold something. Do you guys remember those slippers? We just sold a pair of 2006 Old Navy low-waist boot-cut denim jeans. Do we remember these crazy wild slippers? Anyone that's been following me for a while will remember these. These Zerglings. Do you guys remember these guys? The Zerglings. So these just sold. This is a perfect example. This guy wanted these slippers, but he kept trying to wheel and deal me. And I said, well, why don't you find something else in the store that you like, and then you'll get free shipping. So he found a little Halloween cat pin that he liked. I spent $0.25 on it. He paid $8 for the cat pin. He paid $50 for those slippers and got free shipping. Did I lose out or did he lose out? Well, nobody lost, because here's what happened. I got an extra piece out of my inventory. It convinced someone to buy something because they were able to get free shipping. I still made a ton of money on that cat pin, and that cat pin covered the shipping price that I'm going to have to send out for free. So at the end, I still come out, $2 ahead on the cat pin. I come out, those slippers cost me $10. I sold them for $50. I come out $40 ahead on that. Mathematically, that just makes sense, right? So this is a perfect example of another thing that probably will end up selling together. Maybe not these exact 2 things, but have a few cheap things in your inventory, because it's going to get someone to make that plunge that maybe was already on the fence a little bit. Y'all know we like deals, and every company does this. You guys see this all the time. Add one more thing to your cart and you'll get this. Add one, do this, and you'll get this in it, right? So that's just good marketing and business 101 right there. So don't be afraid to have a couple things in your inventory that might be just a little bit less. Now, one little tip you can do on threads here is, if you see a little pull or you see an area that's got a little spot, instead of clipping at the base and then pulling, you're going to create a pinhole. Clip at the very, very tip of that thread, and then just do a little light pull, and that'll pull that right back inside. So it takes a little bit of practice to be able to do that, but it's great when it happens, because you can get that off of there. Let's see. We're going to have to do a little piece of tape here on this sleeve. This material does not want to stick, although that's going to make that look blown. So we're just going to keep that tape. We're just going to mess around with a little bit here. So I would keep a little bit of tape on the stand here, so I can mess around with the sleeves a little bit, get it to look the way that I want it to look. And then, in the words of the Muppets, moving right along. All right. And then picture this here. And how does our exposure look? That looks great. Perfecto. Just remember, if you use tape on anything, to take the tape off. I always know that someone is receiving tape on their item when I realize I don't have tape up here, and I'm like, whoops. Whoopsie Goldberg on that. All right, and then we're gonna do cross. On Dickies or any of this menswear stuff where it has like little tab logos, make sure you get those in your photos too. Like this one's got the bottom hem tag. It also has one of the double over tags on the pocket right here. You want to get those in the picture because this aesthetic right here is very skate, very streetwear, very hip hop, very like metal, very indie, and that aesthetic and that group of people that wear that aesthetic really, really, really like the logos. So if you don't show that those logos are on there, another listing is going to win over yours because they're going to snag that one up. I think after this we'll do my area is full. That tells me that we need to be about done. So I think I'm going to do one more after this here. So this is a Dickies work shirt. Let's see. We got a few more here. What's your go-to standard stain remover? So normally I spray a little OxyClean on stuff and I let it sit for about 30 minutes and then I wash it out. I did get a tip though from Riz Reisner on here for Murphy's oil soap, I think you said, for oil stains. I saw another video, someone else said that they used Lester oil, I think they said, which I'm new to these things. I had bought something and I don't know that I really like it. Where is it? I haven't really used it much. It's kind of, it has like a interesting scent to it. I'm not super happy about. It's called Miss Mouse Messy Eater Stain Remover. I don't know. I'm not super into it. I'll try using it, but do you comp out items on Depop or eBay since Depop is big for you? Usually eBay. I find that Depop is so all over the place. Plus, it's just way harder to comp stuff over on Depop. Depop sellers, half those people on there don't know nothing. They don't know what they're doing. So the price wise of stuff over there is crazy. It's hard to locate your own closet on Depop to even look at your own prices of stuff. You have to put at and then your name and then the item. So it's just a way harder place to like look stuff up. I find eBay's easier. And so what I do, like if I want to sell if I know something's going to sell on Depop, whatever I put in for the pricing on eBay is going to reflect kind of what I expect to get over on Depop. But if it's more like Levi's or something like that, like a really standard staple, I'll usually go by eBay prices. I may add an extra $1 in over on Depop because I do bundle shipping for free and I do all those other things. So sometimes I play around with it a little bit. Yeah. Loss leaders. What is loss leaders? What am I missing? What's a loss leader? Murphy's is awesome. Do you have pointers on titles for your listings? Are you very descriptive and do you word things? Yes. So same descriptions everywhere, same titles everywhere. I don't change it. The only one that ever gets changed is Grailed, and that's only because they don't allow you to have as many characters. So I just take out the whole bottom usually. But I don't list everything on Grailed. I only do like my super fire items that are like 50 over, well, closer to $100 over there. So how I work my titles, let me look at one so that I don't mess this up. So normally what I do, we'll take like, so we just sold these pants. This is a pair of Old Navy pants. I want to get to them because I don't want you guys to see the people's names. Okay. So here's a pair of pants I just sold. So if I can find the date of an item, I always put the date first because there's so many people looking for certain eras. And because resellers keep calling things vintage that aren't vintage, and they keep calling things Y2K that aren't always Y2K, people have started like filtering that word out. Kind of like the word rare. Nobody's getting stuff because it's rare. If something I have is like super crazy rare, I'll usually write insanely rare, super unique, hard to find. Like, I'll really punch it in the description. So I always put the date first. Then the next thing I'm going to put is the brand. So date and then brand. The next thing I'm going to put is the like what are these things? So in instance, these are a low waist boot cut. So that's the kind of pant that they are. They're denim, so they're not cloth or anything. Denim jeans. Then I put whether they're women's or men's, I put the size, and then I'll put a few trigger words like Y2K because they're from 2006, so the person can see they really are Y2K. They're distressed. They're also a Western look. So my very end is always kind of like my keywords or my trigger words. Those are also going to go in the description as well. So date them if you can, brand, what in the world are these and what are they made of? Who do they belong to? Meaning, are they women's or men's? And then what is the cherries on top? And cherries on top for this would be Y2K, distressed, and Western. I hope that works. Loss leader, more economical option to entice buyers to purchase more in quantity. I don't know what that means. I'm so curious. I'm writing this down. Loss leader. Does that mean like, why do I not know that? How do I not know what that is? Ooh, something new to learn. Daredevil, you're welcome. I hope that helps with their description. Okay, let's get a picture of this here, and then we're going to do one more after this, and then we are going to move on to, I'm going to do some listings. I'm going to let you guys go and sit down. So let's see, what else do we got in here? Anything else important? Here's a little style tag. This is a very new Dickies. I can tell just by the tag brand. The tag is like not even a double over. Oh, it's your bundling tactic. Gosh, that's crazy, man. I did marketing for years and I've never heard of a loss leader. Although I was doing online marketing for digital stuff, which doesn't really pertain to like hard goods. Loss leader, basically a doorbuster, taking a loss on the item to bring you to stock. Oh, okay. Fetty, got it. That makes sense. Okay. Oh, wow. I just wouldn't have called it that. That's cool. All right. I learned something new today. That makes me excited. You guys, I love learning weird new words and stuff. That makes me like very happy to know that. So y'all just fed back into me as much as I'm funneling out to you. I super appreciate that. That's rad. Thanks, you guys. Honey, learning something new. He's like, oh my goodness. My wife's always yelling at me from the rooms. Gracious, thank you for the like. Oh, guys, before we leave, do you think we can get to 10,000K? If we can get those hearts to 10,000, that is like a huge like algorithm boost for TikTok. They like that 10K. That's their thing. And let's see, what is the size on this? So this is a large, and we are looking at, for our measurements, looks like our chest is 23.5. Our length is 31.5. Loss leader, I gotta remember that. And our shoulders are 20. This is how my brain works. I have to think things and like say them to myself 800 times so I remember. Our carbon shirt that had the spot on it, our chest is 21.5. Our sleeves are 25. Our length is 29. And our shoulders are 17. Oh, we got it, you guys. We literally, dude, you guys just laid out 1,000 hearts in that time it took me to write down those specs. Oh, see? Did you guys see it? Did you see how the little, yay, we did it. We did it. We did it. Riz Risers and hanging lights. Woohoo! Yeah, baby. All right, last thing here. Let's see, what do we got? Let's do a banger. All right, so here we've got a Honda racing jacket with the giant Honda in the back. This is a Storm Tech technology. Storm Tech is basically their, it's a way of saying like water resistant. So it's not waterproof, but this is going to be like wind resistant, water resistant. It's kind of like what Gore-Tex does on the outside of their stuff. And Storm Tech is it's a good brand. They've been around for just a little while here. They do mainly I think I've seen their stuff in, they mainly do sports stuff. They do mainly wind and water resistant stuff from what I've seen. I think this is the third one of their jackets I've had. I'm trying to think of another brand that reminds me of them. Not Columbia. Gosh, I mean, I think Gore-Tex is the closest I can think of. So if you guys see this, they usually have it somewhere. It'll usually be like a 3D. I've seen it on the back here. I've also seen it. The other jacket I did, I believe it was on the side here, on the side seams. They're just a good quality jacket. It's a bread and butter. This will probably bring us in maybe $65, something right in there. I am curious, actually. Let's hang this up because I don't think I comped this one. I got this for $1 at a garage sale a few weeks ago. Let's take a look here. Actually, I think this was one of our first items that I did on TikTok. And I've been waiting for it to get just a little bit cooler to list it, but I don't think we comped it. I just knew that it would sell because I've done Storm Tech before. Let's take a look here. And anything you find that has the Honda or any car stuff on there always sells for me. It's kind of like Harley stuff. Anything that's got NASCAR racing or anything like that. Let's see if we can. I may have already tried to comp this and didn't get my answer. Let's take a look here because this is going to be a little bit of a rare boy. This is probably somebody that probably worked at the store or something got this. Oh, my internet is nope, you're not doing nothing. I'm going to guess it's probably, with it being kind of a dry fit experience, I'm going to guess 65. I'm going to guess 65 on there. We'll see. Okay. I'm going to pull this down here. It's in really good condition. There's only a couple little spots. Oh, we got a little grossy hair up there. We don't want that. Get off there, mister. Get off there. What is that? Get that off there. Oh my goodness. Come on. Oh my gosh, you guys, there's a hair. There's a little hair literally stuck in the thing. We're going to bust out our cheap 99-cent tweezers here. Sometimes you just got to bust out the tweezers, especially if you get anything that's got the fleece to it. This is the non-glamorous side of reselling. There's also a tiny spot there. We're going to bust out our super heavy duty cleaner, which is water. Greatest thing to clean anything ever. A little high, as Adam Sandler would say, high quality H2O. Okay. I'm going to get that off there. Perfect. All right. And it's got a nice little mock neck there. This is such a good fall jacket. I've got a bunch of other coats that I've been kind of hanging on to, just waiting for this time of year. So I am very excited about that. Have you guys ever sold any of the Storm Tech stuff yet? Like I said, I think this is my third jacket that I've had, but this is the first Honda one I've had. I haven't had a Honda one before. Gosh, there's another brand I'm trying to think of that this reminds me of, and I don't know why my brain. I'll get off here with you guys and I'll probably think of it. But there's another brand that this reminds me so much of. And I keep thinking it's Gore-Tex, but it's not. It has that slippery outside feel to it. And this is nice. This has got the hook and loop fasten at the bottom. I've got it and it's going to drive me. I don't know if you guys are like that, but whenever I've got something like that, it just drives me literally crazy to not be able to think of the name of it. My brain's going to rack on this. Any ideas? Did anybody have any ideas? What is the brand? It's like this. I keep wanting to say Omniwick, but that's not it. They do the wind resistant, water resistant, not waterproof. It's not Columbia. It's not Gore-Tex. Oh, I just can't think of it. I just literally can't think of what it is. That's okay. I'll come up with it at some point here. It's like almost like a polyester feel to it. I don't know. I can't remember. We're moving on though. All right, get a little picture of the inside. Perfect. And then this back is like fire. It's got a little yuckies. Sometimes you put stuff through the wash and it still just has that little bit of film on it. Outdoor research. No, down south. Oh, why is this going to drive me crazy so much? I think it's because it's literally on the tip of my tongue. I keep thinking Omniwick, but I know that that's not it. Now, it's totally a Gorp Core style brand, too. I don't know. Guys. I don't know. Heli. No. I've heard Omnitech. We're going to Google this really quick, guys, and see if I can get this to work. Oh, my phone's at 20%. That's why it's being weird. I've noticed with my iPhone, if my phone gets below 20% and I try to do Google Lens, I get that like, I'm sorry, with like a little guy that's fishing, we can't find what you're looking for. Gorp Core outdoor water and wind resistant jacket. Let's see if we can find it. Well, telling me Port Authority. Nope. That's definitely not it. Oh, this is gonna get crazy. I see the outdoor technology there, but that's not, it's definitely not Columbia. It's not North Face. I mean, Gore-Tex is the closest I could think of, but I don't know why I can't find it. I'm telling you guys, I'm going to end up getting off of here and I'm going to immediately remember what it is. I don't know. Any other? Arc'teryx! Gracious, thank you. Yes. Oh my gosh. I kept thinking, oh, winner, chicken dinner. Oh my gosh. That's what I was thinking of. So it's the same as most of their jackets that have that like slick polyester. They're not waterproof and windproof usually, although they do make a few waterproof. But that's what it is. Oh man, you just saved me literally 4 hours of a rabbit hole. I could not think of it. And unfortunately, my brain, when I get obsessed onto something, that's just like it. I cannot think of anything else. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm so happy you remembered what it was. That's so silly to be that hung up on it. But I mean, it is what it is. So, oh, thank you. I'm telling you, I was going to get off here and literally go down a rabbit hole until I figured out what it was. All right, what size is this? This is a large. Perfect. All right, and that's going to be our last one for the evening. I'm going to head out, you guys. I'm so glad you got that. Made me so happy. I knew I had it. I'm like, I could almost like see it, but I kept seeing an O and not the A, and that's what was throwing me off. Oh, all right, you guys. All right, so how many things do we get listed? 1, 2, 3, 4. Our pictures. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Looks like we got, I think, 14 things done. I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Excuse me, I still have 10 from last night. So I am going to work on getting those 24 things up. I think I already got 6 things listed today. So I'm really trying to meet that goal of 30 a day if I can. 30 a day up, 30 cross listed. I wish I was as fast at listing as I am at cross listing, but we'll get there. You can see the smoke coming out of my ears, no doubt. You guys, thanks for the love and the shares. Thank you for the Mrs. Riz Reiser. Thank you for the beautiful lights across. Thank you for all of the little gifts and all the cool stuff. I hope that I added value to your afternoon/evening, and I will see you guys back on here tomorrow. I think is tomorrow Friday? Yeah, so we'll be doing shipping tomorrow, And then Saturday's garage sale day. All right, you guys, have a beautiful night. I'll see you soon. Thanks, everybody. Mwah. And thank you to everybody who joined us on YouTube. If you're watching us live or on the replay, I appreciate you too. I hope you guys have a beautiful evening. All right. Bye, everybody.